Let's get started, huh? Started in here.
Oh, I wish we didn't record that part.
Let's get it! Community.
He just opened double voice, son. He's done.
Double voice, son.
Strategy.
And dude, I almost got screwed over today because of that.
And technology.
So I think that we got a little CommanderCast connection there.
Maybe.
It's tenuous. Tenuous at best.
CommanderCast.com.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to CommanderCast episode 233. We're your weekly source for community, strategy, and technology, hosted on mtgcast.com and our home site, CommanderCast.com. We're recording this on January 21st, 2016. I am your host of the show, William, and join me as always is my perennial co-host, Mark. How you doing today, sir?
Good. How goes it, Will?
It's going pretty good. I'm a little rattled right now, but it happens. So, Calvin will be joining us in a little bit. Clay is apparently prepping for Snowpocalypse 3.0 this year. So, it's going to be me, Mark, and then we actually have a guest for today's episode. We've got Kathy Silver of TCGplayer.com.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going alright. So, Kathy, you write for TCG Player, you write about EDH, what else do you do?
I own a game store in Geneva, Illinois called Gaming Goat Geneva, and that's pretty much about it these days. Just laying low, I guess. Not really. I have no idea.
So, Calvin's going to be here. Calvin actually requested him specifically. So, we're going to have at least two threes of the... What was the original podcast called again?
Off Color Cast.
There we go.
Yeah, that was bad.
Yeah. It was a fantastic wrestling podcast, though.
True. It was.
What is Christian up to nowadays?
He got married and has like a stepson, so he had to grow up real fast.
Oh, damn it.
He had to go from creepy internet perv, to an adult, exactly.
Damn it.
I mean,
don't like the dust.
when you say creepy internet perv and becoming an adult, you remember that the two aren't mutually exclusive, right?
Well, I mean...
That's the unfortunate thing.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
So, at this point, we'd like to do favorite commanders of the week to go ahead and get things going. So we'll go ahead and start with Mark. Mark, who's your favorite commander this week?
Well, I mean, after not last week, I guess it would be the week before when we started talking about, Calvin's Boros Reanimator deck, I've really been interested in trying to play around with, Brian Stoutarm. So, like a Brian Stoutarm Reanimator deck seems funny and stupid, so I haven't put it together yet, but, I don't know, pitching little creatures at people's faces and then, like, getting them back through dumb Reanimator effects seems like something I want to give a shot, so.
Alright. So, Cassidy, who's your favorite commander this week?
I think I'm kind of going back to my roots, especially with all these big colorless creatures coming out. So I'm gonna say Omnath, Locus of Mana. I've been playing him for a really long time. Like, that's kind of how I got my start on TCG Player. I had a website dedicated to him, so he's an OG. So yeah, he's my favorite now.
Wait, a whole website dedicated to just Omnath?
Yeah, sort of. I mean, it wasn't a Magic website, but it was based on Omnath.
You can't handle the math.
Yeah, exactly. He knows.
That thing was awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, it's probably still up, honestly, because it's on autopay, the GoDaddy domain. So, yeah, I had a lot of Photoshop picture of Omnath with, like, sweet, like, wrestling gear on and shit.
Hold on, what website was it?
You can't handle the NAF.com. I don't know if it's still up there.
What's this? Yep, it's still there.
Oh, I haven't posted on it in, like, probably 4 years, but yeah.
Ooh, you know what? I need to put a link into the show notes.
Dude, the one thing I learned from that website is that if you put pictures of Magic cards on your website, you're gonna get 1 million hits. It doesn't matter what I did. Like, you would just get 1 million hits from people searching, via, like, Google Images or something, so.
Hey man, take the traffic where we can get it.
Exactly. Yep.
Oh man, this is, like, amazing.
It's old school, man. That's real old. I kept doing it a little bit after I started for TCG player, but once I started hanging out with like Andy, and then Calvin and stuff like that, I really stopped doing it.
Yeah, all the way back in 2012.
Yeah.
Man, that was such a big year.
Yep.
Alright, so then, describe what happened when, the new Omnath came out for you then.
Well, I mean, I've been playing Boba Rigmos, in Rage for a really long time. So I just basically kind of threw the new Omnath into that deck, because I wanted to try it out. We're old friends and stuff like that, and then he works totally well with what Bobo's got going on, so that's pretty much what, I think of, the new Omnath. Like, he's cool. He's not as cool as the old one. He's not mono green, but, he fit in with what I was doing anyway, so we can be pals,
Alright. So going on to my favorite commander of the week, this week I'm going with Avacyn Guardian Angel, because she is going to be my starter commander for a brand new video series that I'm working on. So, the idea that I've been working on I've been thinking about this idea for the past couple of years, I want to say, where you guys know how people like, Brian David Marshall have like the one commander deck that they have, and that's the only commander deck they ever play, right? Like, like it's their favorite deck, they don't really feel the need to build more because it just does everything they love, and they spend like years and years tuning and refining this, and looking at new sets, and trying out maybe a couple new cards that come out. I always thought that was a really cool idea. The problem is, I have like 27 decks because I compulsively need to have one for every color combination, so I don't really get the depth of refinement that someone like BDM would get just from playing that one deck over and over and over and over and over and over and over. So I thought, well, what if I could go back in time? Like, just event commander from the moment that Magic became a thing. So, let's go ahead and take my commander now, go back to Alpha, build a deck out of just those cards. Then we go ahead and add cards set by set, playing some games as we add cards to figure out what's working, what's not, and it kind of refines this commander over time. And that way, I can also increase my Moto collection small steps at a time.
Oh yeah, that makes sense on Moto. I was gonna say, that's gonna be tough, because your deck's gonna suck in Alpha, man.
No, that's the only way I'd be able to afford a force field, which I do have on Moto now, which is sweet.
Yeah, it's like, what is it, like 10 cents or something on Moto? It's the bomb. It's awesome.
At most, it's like 50.
Yeah. There was some pretty sweet things about Moto, like, oh, cool, Aiden Oakenshield for a nickel.
Yep.
And I get all my stuff through MTGO Trader, so I can actually just pay cash rather than having to mess around with like the whole ticket system. The ticket system was giving me headaches. Like the fraction of the tickets, and some of the bots are going to hold on to your fraction of tickets. Like, no, just let me throw money at the screen, get my cards, and get out of there.
I would spend like maybe half an hour building a card of like commons and uncommons and shit, and then like it would just close on me. I think that's the reason I stopped playing in Moto. Like I really can't build this. This has happened 7 times in a row. Okay, I'm done. Thanks.
Yeah. Fortunately, MTGO Trader is a lot easier to use after you use like the initial time.
Okay.
Because the first time you use it, you have to go through like several steps to make sure that it's you, that it's not someone trying to, scam the accounts or whatever. But after you get those initial steps done with your first order, every other order after that's just gravy. Like,
oh, that sounds cool.
You order it online from like an actual Magic website, like off of Star City or whatever, or TCG Player. Hey.
Word.
And you can choose like human checkout or bot checkouts. The bot check is usually faster. You wait like about 5 minutes, and the bot will get to you, and you can have the bot initiate a trade with you, and all your cards will be there. You just drag and drop, and then boom, they're yours.
Cool.
So that made the process a lot easier.
Do they have it on the phone yet? Probably not, huh? That game's way too complicated. As I'm sitting here with Hearthstone on my phone.
Yeah. The only downside I found to building a deck out of just alpha cards isn't that there aren't enough cards. Like, I was able to build a 38 land deck full of artifacts and white cards, and in paper it would look fine. But some of those cards aren't actually on Moto.
That is also true. Yep.
I don't get to play any of the color wards, which I was looking forward to playing. I don't get to play Lance or Holy Armor or Helm of Chutnik. I was looking forward to playing Helm of Chutnik.
You don't need the bands, man. You don't. You just don't.
No, I was looking forward to it. It's like, okay, this is alpha. Let's go balls to the walls, completely old stuff. Like, they have Banalish Hero on there, but they don't have Helm of Chutnik.
Yeah, there's probably a good reason for that.
Armor. Wasn't Holy Armor reprinted like 4 or 5 times or something?
Apparently not.
Oh well.
Like,
I mean, I still have my revised copy, but that means fucking nothing on Moto.
Like, I'm actually gonna look this up real quick just to see where it's printed. Holy Armor. Let's see. Holy Armor was only printed in original Alpha, Beta, Revised, and 4th edition.
Okay, 4th edition. Yeah. So that's what I started playing.
Yeah, like you might be thinking of Holy Strength. So this is literally Holy Armor, where the creature gets O2, and then you can pay white to pump up the toughness.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. But yeah, Holy Strength is the one that I was thinking of at first, and then I remember. Okay, gotcha. Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yep. So we're gonna find out if Avacyn really is the commander I want to use as my model white commander. I'm actually looking at the new Linvala because I like her effects quite a bit. So we'll see what happens from there. But we'll get there when we get there.
Oh yeah, I was thinking you were talking about Linvala. You're talking about the Avacyn from M15, right?
Yeah, Pocket Avacyn.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Interesting.
All right. So if you like what we do here at CommanderCast, the whole network thing, Rivals Duel, the articles, this show, I hope you like this show, you listen to it, then go ahead and consider supporting us on Patreon. You can actually just give us the tip and leave a $1 tip. When I get the video series going, I'll be able to post that early for people who are donating a little more. But if you just want to give us a tip, that'll be just fine. So go ahead, look us up on Patreon. We're the CommanderCast Network. Alright, so first up, we're going to go into our community segment today, and in a timely fashion, the Rules Committee has come up with some rules changes. Stay tuned, everyone. We'll be right back. And parts like this, I wish Calvin was here, because he was really good at following up on that pitch.
Just the tip.
Yeah!
That's what I was thinking.
That's what it was. So, in today's community section, we'll be talking about those changes that were made to Commander, which, I don't know if you knew this or not, but it's actually kind of prevalent to what we do here at CommanderCast. So, let's go ahead and get these done in, I would say, least impactful to the most impactful, maybe? I'm going to pick an order here. First thing we're going to talk about is the Mulligan rule, because it's the Mulligan rule. The general idea is that, Vancouver Mulligan, the idea that you're going to mulligan, and if you go down to less than your 7, you get to scry 1 in your normal Magic games. It's how it's been for Standard, your F&M, your Draft, Modern, all that fun stuff. That's what we're going to go with to start with. I don't know about you guys, but we've kind of just been stapling the Vancouver scry on top of the partial Paris. So, like, if you have the partial to lower than 7, which I've had to do a few times, you get your scry.
That's interesting.
Yeah, a lot of the games I've been playing have been with, like the French one-on-one version. And they adopted Vancouver right away. So, like, this doesn't really change much for any of us. So, like, that part didn't really bug me at all, so, and honestly, like, everyone's unhappy with it though. The old partial Paris was, much better for just, like, consistency's sake, and, now the Mulligan is basically the exact same as designed for, the competitive formats, which doesn't really make too much sense. But, people just deal with it. It's actually easier to make all the Magic formats have the same Mulligan rule. Even like, in this case, like, multiplayer and Standard will have kind of the same Mulligan rule. That makes it so when you get someone new into the game, at least they can, they won't be so confused and they won't do the wrong thing when they're playing Standard, which is happening a lot, little kids that are learning the game are like, oh yeah, we're not playing EDH, and then the person they're playing against in Standard is just like, God damn it. So, I'm kind of glad on that front that, like, at least it's all getting kind of, like, smoothed out, across the game.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, even with last year's Tuck rule, like, it just makes more sense. I think it's a little easier for newer players. Like, I think they're definitely trying to make it easier to kind of, switch between formats, and not have some of these kind of weird, like, commander-only rules that people might get upset about if you didn't know when you were coming in. So, I think to me, it's fine. I don't know. I've been playing around a little bit with the Vancouver scry. It's okay. I think most I've been playing around with it because Moto adopted it. So, and I play online a lot more than I do in real life. So, but even in real life, like, it's okay.
Hey, I'll be joining you.
So if you're playing the Commander version on Moto, like, it currently has it anyways, like
Yeah, it has the scry anyway.
Okay.
You can't actually you could never actually do, like, the partial Paris anyway.
Oh, I see.
So,
okay.
so now it's the same as, like, Moto was always just like, every format with the same mulligan rules. So, like, who knows, maybe they couldn't program it in, or they just didn't program it in, I don't fucking know. But,
it makes sense why they might make that change too, because, there's always a lot of suspicion that the rules committee makes some decisions based on what will work on Moto, so. We kind of talked about that with Sheldon last time, I think, but.
Add more fuel to conspiracy fire.
Yeah, well,
Conspiracy 2? Confirmed?
Oh god, that'd be awesome. Well, actually, Vintage Masters may be confirmed, sort of, by conspiracists. That'd be so cool.
Ooh, I would take that.
Have you guys heard about the Vintage Masters rumors?
No.
Apparently, in February during the Pro Tour, they're gonna announce, Vintage Masters, which is gonna be an actual printed card set, with basically vintage and legacy staples,
Ooh, so, reserve list go bye-bye?
No, they're gonna avoid the reserve list, but there's plenty of amazing cards that need reprinting that aren't gonna touch the reserve list, Forest, Wasteland, Zendi fetch lands, anything that is expensive and needs reducing in price. And maybe it'll even help in Modern, because Modern's ridiculous right now.
That's true. That's true. How can I convince my boss not to open every single pack he gets?
The MSRP is gonna be ridiculously high, so you just, you just like it.
And yet, I know people will buy those booster packs because they want a chance to get them.
Well, and, EDH players are gonna love it, because, you're gonna get cards that have always been too expensive because of formats that you don't care a whiff about, Cool, I want a Wasteland. Oh, $70, never mind. I'll just wait for the miracle when they reprint it. Oh, look, it's coming.
So, moving on to the next thing. So, I seem to remember an episode where we were talking about the change in the tuck rule, and I proposed that a certain rule get changed and taken out entirely. That's right. This actually happened now. So, mana works exactly like it says on the card, which is a weird thing to say, but remember, for the longest time in EDH, we have had this rule that says anytime you make color outside of your color identity, it just becomes colorless. Like, when Urborg's on the field, you can avoid, City of Brass's ping you effect by tapping it for the colorist instead. Now you can actually just get black from your friend's Urborg. Your City of Brass can make black and you take a damage. Your Birds of Paradise can actually tap for any color. The mana rule that restricted that just went bye-bye. They called it Rule 4, which I don't know why they were calling it Rule 4 other than there's no real clean way to label this rule. So mana actually works exactly like you think it works. There's no extra step here. It just does what you want it to do. And personally, I'm happy about that because now my Rexio wants to touch all your things deck can actually touch all your things.
Jesus, you don't really call it that, do you?
Of course I do.
God damn it, Will.
He just wants to touch all your things.
I just know, man. Oh.
I mean, I could call Rexio Kleptomaniac, but that doesn't really, it doesn't really roll off the tongue.
No, man. I mean, I'm glad I guess you went with Kleptomania. So, that was where I was going, so I'll just leave it there. That's fine. I'm glad that now we can make any color mana. Although, I remember a buddy of mine told me about this rule, and then his next comment was, sweet, Send triplets just got even better. I'm like, fuck you, dude. Fuck you.
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
What do you think, Gav?
I like it. It makes more sense, and again, I like the game kind of making more sense for everyone. I'm really actually curious if you play Commander right now on MTGO, and you tap a Bird of Paradise, will it make any color mana you want and not make it colorless? Just curious.
That's interesting. Huh.
I mean, I'm in white right now, so I don't know.
I'm gonna hop on tomorrow night and play with Grandpa Growth for a little while, so I will be able to confirm next week, I guess.
Yeah, I'm just curious because we've been talking about the quote unquote conspiracy, but it's fine. It doesn't really change much for me. I think it makes some more sense in general. I kind of like the flavor of the Commander not being able to make the color, but it didn't come up too often, and it really only comes up in like a few colors even, I guess you can play a few colorless like Helm of Possession type stuff, but mostly it's a blue type of thing, or like a red type of thing where you're stealing cards a lot, or maybe green if like, you're given a card or something and you have a Bird of Paradise, So I mean, it's not like a universal effect. It's not like the tuck change quite where like that changed how a lot of things work. how even like things getting bounced back to your hand work, that kind of thing. And I feel like this is more kind of narrow and, it's like, whatever, cool, it's gone, more kind of, or just less rules to have to teach people and have to deal with,
I actually like that it helps kind of encourages you to play those, any color mana rocks again, because it makes cards like, Bring the Light a lot better. Like, I actually played Bring the Light in my Prime Speaker Zero deck, and I can try and shoot to get all 5 colors to tutor for something that costs 5 or less.
Actually, the one thing that I find interesting about this subject is, the dual commander format, actually went the other way, where now if you're playing like a Bird of Paradise and you're playing like a rug deck and you try to tap black, it'll make colorless. And that's relevant because it then makes true colorless. So that's one of the reasons I was kind of talking about, making it simpler and things being homogenous. Like, I really have a feeling that the fact that multiplayer commander and then dual commander have like the complete opposite take on the same rule is going to be really tough for my players.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like I'm kind of worried about that. This is like the first real, this waste mana is kind of revolutionary. It's like the first time in a really long time that, we had, like, as a community, you have to sit down and figure out exactly how that fits into a commander. Maybe not as a community because we have rules committees, but you know what I mean. And it's interesting they went like the complete opposite direction with it, and I'm not sure which one I like better. I kind of like the one that the dual commander adopted because I want to play more Eldrazi, and being able to drop them with City of Brass makes City of Brass a lot better in my opinion. But I just find it very interesting that there's going to be 2 different versions of the same thing, and we'll find out which one is actually better because they're literally, you had to make one of the decision, and they completely went a different way, so.
Yeah. I have to say though, I prefer this way, not just for the Rexia one to touch all your things deck, because I think it kind of makes colorless feel like, I'm kind of talking about the true colorless, like the new Kozilek, the new Eldrazi type thing. I really like that you actually have to find ways to create colorless mana outside of your Soul Ring.
Yeah. Yeah, and, we don't even play Soul Rings in one-on-one, but, it actually, for me, it makes so that, a lot of, like, utility lands were kept getting pushed out because there's so much non-basic hate, are coming back. Like, oh yeah, like, maybe I will play Homeward Path again because, after a while it seemed terrible, but now, oh wait, it can help me cast Eldrazi, so this is pretty sweet, Yeah. And also pain lands too. Like, how often do you use pain lands in a multicolor deck? But now you might more, if you want to cast Kozilek or like,
or even use Mirror Pool.
Yeah, Mirror Pool is pretty good. I don't want to overhype that card yet because, I haven't used it yet, but I definitely put a copy into, Omnath, so.
Yeah, but it changes how you think about deck construction, right? Because I would easily put Mirror Pool into my blue-red deck, but I don't have enough color sources in there to justify it.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so that was the second big rule, but here's the one that actually ended up. Well, let me, you know what? I need to get some context here. Let me go ahead and head to our Facebook page, because I actually have stats for this. Hold on. Okay. And, okay. Code just decided to show up here. So, Facebook, when you run a Facebook page, the Facebook page gives you, like, stats, like how many people a post reach. So, like, me posting a random thing asking people a question that reaches almost 300 people.
Mm-hmm.
Our Fate Reforged post reached almost 100 people, which is really, really sad. Yeah.
Yeah, Facebook is a douche like that. You actually have to pay like at least $5 to really get it out there. I know all about that.
Yeah. So, like, our show posts and stuff like that, I think it from 100 to 300 people reached. When I announced on our, because this was actually almost up to the minute when the announcement was made, when I announced on our Facebook page that Prophet Kruphix had been banned, and literally nothing else, that post reached almost 8,000 people.
Jesus.
Well, the website was down though. So
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that's the big reason. I only got it because I could only find out what actually happened when I checked your guys' feed. So that would be my guess.
Yeah, I mean, fortunately, one of my friends went and screenshot the forum and then posted it in the comments of that so that people could see it.
Exactly. Yep.
So thanks, Brian. Way to be a bro. But yeah, the Prophet of Kruphix was apparently so powerful it broke the forum. It didn't just break the format; it broke the forum. So, Prophet of Kruphix banned. The reasoning that the Rules Committee gives us is that Prophet of Kruphix was so powerful that it was driving the reason why people play blue-green in Commander, as opposed to playing blue-green and being like, oh, let's go ahead and put Prophet of Kruphix because it's a powerful card. It's, I want to play Prophet of Kruphix, so I guess we're building a blue-green deck.
Yeah.
It's also I was talking about this with a friend just today when we were cracking open our case for Gatewatch, and we're like, he's like, yeah, this kind of needed to happen for a while, and yeah, the rules committee also pointed out that when cards become really powerful or degenerate, sometimes they just kind of fall out of favor because people either get tired or their playgroup goes, yeah, we don't enjoy playing against the card, which happens sometimes with Deadeye Navigator. Either people don't like playing the repetitiveness of that card, or their playgroup doesn't like it, so they end up taking it out. No, apparently Magic players are just horrible people because Prophet Kruphix kept showing up. And we've had this discussion on this show before where it's like, yeah, you can't get mad if Prophet Kruphix gets destroyed because Prophet Kruphix is literally just ridiculous. So, let's go ahead and get your guys' insight on this.
I mean, I'm always kind of a little bummed out when they ban a green card and not a blue card. This thing's blue-green, so I guess it's kind of a happy medium for me, honestly. I would have preferred to see Deadeye Navigator go, but, whatever. It's a good start. It's actually the right type of card to be banning for the right reason, so I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I'd say the same thing. Prophet should have seen this coming, man. I mean, it's, not only do you get to untap everything, but you also get to cast things at instant speed. Come on. I mean, I'm glad that Wizards pushes the envelope every once in a while on the power, but yeah, this was a long time coming.
Yeah, and it wasn't even overpowered in any other format besides Commander either, too, so, I guess that's our own fault. I mean, the fact that it's blue-green, and they said that people were building blue-green just to have that card, I don't think that was very fair. I really didn't like exactly how they said it. I never really do because they don't do all the bannings I particularly like, and I've always kind of thought that they should either have a really good ban list or no ban list because the half-assing of it really bugs me. But this time the half-assedness is the reason, and I really like the choice at least.
Yeah, I agree. They never really get around to. They never really fully explain to anybody's satisfaction. It seems like.
Yeah.
But. I mean, what are you gonna do? You're probably gonna never make everybody happy anyway. So I'm with Cassidy on this one. Even if they don't come out with a satisfactory answer, it was the right target.
Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and link the actual post in the show notes, right where it says all the mana. There we go. So, they brought up the point that usually when they try and put something on the ban list, they take a look at it to see if there's anything that can come off. And that everything that's on there right now more or less should still be on there. Is there anything on there that you guys could reasonably say maybe they should have looked at this to come off the ban list?
Come off of it? I'll say Emrakul and Grizzlebrand from Evil Titan, but that's probably not super creative or super well received answers. Especially Emrakul. I don't really think Emrakul is overpowered in a real sense because there's all sorts of things that a deck like Achievement to Play can do anyways, and the notion that he's too powerful because he lets you take extra turns, but then you can play against a blue deck that's going to take 7,000 extra turns and bore the hell out of everyone, that doesn't gel with me, so I think at least Emrakul could come back, and then, Grizzlebrand from Evil Titan, I really miss both those cards in multiplayer. Oh, actually, Ropalos too. I actually got in trouble because I put him in a multiplayer deck and people got mad.
Yeah, I forgot. Last time I was playing my mono green deck, I forgot there were fellows banned, and I'm like, oh shit, maybe I'll just cycle this guy.
Yeah.
There's still that small part of me that's sad that they got rid of the ban as a commander part. Because, after Calvin brought it up, I was actually kind of hoping that they might say, yeah, you can have Emrakul, but only as your commander.
Yeah. And
that would have been cool. I like Ulamog and Kozilek, but what about my flying spaghetti monster? Doesn't she deserve some love?
Mm-hmm. Especially now that there's 2 Kozileks and 2 Ulamogs, and there's World Spine Worm, and why is Flightsteel Colossus any better? You know what I mean? That bugs me. I really like Emrakul. We play, he's legal in 1-on-1, so I play him all the time anyways, in my Omnet deck, and, it's not a big deal. He always comes out on a tooth and nail, but it could be anything really.
Well, if they do ever unban Emrakul, I got my version right here.
I don't know. I'm gonna be that dick and say I wish they had unbanned braids.
Yeah. That too.
I didn't really ever think it was that bad. I mean, I played braids, but I'm also the douchebag who likes stacks. So, but I'm like, is it really that broken? Like, I don't know. I mean, I get as a commander it could probably be really annoying, but like stack stacks could be really annoying. Like I could put anything at the helm and just put a couple of smokestacks in there and I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
Copy smokestack a couple times and just make everyone's life miserable.
Yeah, Braves is another one I miss.
Yeah. Yeah, that's part of that ban that they made, last time. That happened right around when you guys had Sheldon on and I was on with you guys, I think.
Yeah, you're right.
Like the week before or something, because that's kind of what we were talking about a little bit. So,
was that the same time? Was that last year this time when they had the, yeah, it must have been.
Yeah, well, that makes sense since it's a regular thing every year. Light bulbs slowly flickering.
So, you can tell that none of us are the Prophet of Kruphix ban, it's one that none of us can really get mad at. I'm just a little bummed out because I like unfair things when I'm playing with them. Yeah, honestly, when other people are playing with them, I get super pissed off, but when I play with them, it's beautiful.
Yeah, that's what I used to say about Primetime, too.
Yeah.
Whenever anyone, like, if you're on the opposite side from Primetime, it's the biggest douchebag in the world. If you have Primetime, it's the best fucking card ever.
Oh, nice Maze of If, jerk. And then you're like, yes, my Maze of If.
Well, here's something that, Bill, aka Squee from Monday Night Magic, pointed out. Blue and green have been the real problem children for EDH. Like, if you look at the ban list, there's like one or two white cards, one or two black cards, one or two red cards. The Coalition Victory is in there. But most of the stuff that's been really problematic have been either blue or green. Like Sylvan Primordial, Prime Time, Sway of the Stars, Trade Secrets.
Yep.
Just all the blue-green stuff.
And the black stuff makes perfect sense because it's like frickin' Young Bargain. Like, no. Just no.
Yeah. Recurring Nightmare? No, fuck that card.
Yeah. No. Actually, surprisingly, that's unbanned in one-on-one and it doesn't make a splash at all, so there is that.
Really?
Yeah.
No kidding. Wow.
It's not even that good, honestly. There's too much graveyard hate. Everyone plays one scavenging it, and it's just like, oh, never mind.
Yeah, you would think people would play more graveyard hate in multiplayer, but no.
Yeah, that's the Spike and Timmy's and everyone.
Alright. So, that about does it for the Rules Committee update. Not a whole lot. What they did do is gonna have some bigger stuff, I think, as we see later down the line when people start adjusting to these new angles they can take when they play their games. But for now, the worst thing is you have to take out your Prophet of Kruphix, and hey, I happen to have an extra Cyclonic Rift, so I guess I'll just slide that in.
I hate Cyclonic Rift so much. Oh my god.
So,
I don't know if that one's ever going to be on the chopping block.
Oh man. We talked when we were on with Sheldon, we were like, Cyclonic Rift too good, and he's like, no it's not, and we were all like, yeah it is, right?
It's really good. Yeah, it's really, really good.
Really? I don't think so. Alright.
I mean, maybe, who knows? Maybe Sheldon lives in a world where no one plays Cyclonic Rift. I mean, I guess that's a
blue, honestly. I think he's a blue mage. That's just my guess.
alright.
Here comes the new challenger!
So, Clay, you are just in time to share your thoughts on the recent Rules Committee announcements, because
man.
Because we just wrapped up that segment.
Okay.
So first off is the Mulligan rule. How do you feel about the Vancouver Mulligan?
I think it's probably a change for the better, because I will admit to taking advantage of this, but the partial Paris Mulligan kind of promotes much more loose deck building, and that you can sculpt a playable hand out of anything, even if you're running like 2 or 3 fewer lands than you should be. It just kind of... I think the Vancouver rule is completely fine. There's a lot of shuffling to be done because of that, but it'll be fine. It'll be totally fine.
So the next one is mana actually works the way mana's supposed to work.
They got rid of it for flavor, which is totally fine. It also scoots around the awkward interaction of, if I'm in a mono red deck and tap a Darksteel and get for blue, can I spend it on a colorless mana on the diamond symbol?
Mm-hmm.
So I can definitely see why they got rid of that. Yeah.
And now the big one.
I was waiting for you to segue into that.
I think he's putting a drum roll in there right now.
That's a drum roll. Kruphix.
Finally. Just fucking finally. Unfortunately, this means that some asshole went on TCG Player, bought every copy of Seedborn Muse, and they're now like $25, $30 cards.
What?
Yeah, it
Sweet.
happened over the last day.
Sweet! I own so many copies of that fucking card.
Cash him in on Puka Trade.
Yep.
Basically.
Oh dear God!
What?
They are. Oh.
Yeah.
How much are foils?
I don't know about the foils.
Let's look at the 10th edition.
Oh, yeah.
10th edition foils 35.
Okay.
It's just like $5 more expensive than the,
Oh my God! I'm looking. I need to go to the MTG Go Fish.
Yeah, dude, just look at that graph.
This is what working at the store has done to me.
This
I used to not care.
I think Puka Trade is partially to blame for all of this, honestly. As wonderful as it is.
Oh dear God, that spike!
Yeah.
It was $12.
Like, I'm pretty sure the reason that this happens much more now is because Puka Trade exists. Because people will buy out all the copies, and then they'll jack the price up on TCG Player, and then people who have them on their want list will unwittingly have it at a much more expensive price, and they'll send them off.
Yeah,
and just jack points from people.
that actually does sound right. I'm a member of a few groups who invite me in because they think I'm good at Magic Finance, and that's one of the tactics they use is they'll buy out and then they love Puka. I know that. Oh my God, it's Calvin too. Holy shit.
Hey, cool.
Or not.
Oh,
Almost.
he needs to wait for a few moments because otherwise, when he first connects, there's like a whole lot of static and stuff.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
But, I will say on topic, I am very relieved to not have to worry about Prophet of Kruphix anymore, the one card combo, the card that you just can't kill, because the decks that play it can protect it way too well, and if you can't kill it, if they tap out for it and you can't kill it that turn, they get immeasurable value off of it even if it dies 2 turns later. If they leave up mana and don't tap out for it, they can protect it immediately, and then protect it even better when you untap. Like, Yeva plus Seedboard Muse is fine because that's 2 cards. Putting them together, just why?
Because it's
For 5
fun.
mana. For only 5 mana.
Because it's fun. For me.
It's just not okay. It's just not okay at all.
Well, I'm having fun. Isn't that what's important?
Debatable.
I rarely have fun when Prophet of Kruphix resolves it. I'm glad to see it gone. It also gets rid of the, I'm going to play on your turn, which is just...
Alright, include a link to the goldfish, and we have ourselves a Facebook post.
Yeah, just, one of the guys I follow on Twitter posts pictures of cards that spike with the graph, and it's just so ridiculous. Just, like, why?
The foil God Kruphix was like $100 for a little bit, and now it's like up to $50, I think. Last time I checked, like a couple days ago. So,
Like,
just buy out of bad cards all the time.
Okay. So, Calvin, you with us now?
Here comes a new challenger!
Calvin was ain't able to join this call, and...
Boo.
They do need
Calvin.
There's Calvin.
A real prophet would have seen this coming.
And I did not come up with that title. Mark did.
I was bored when I was typing up show notes today.
It's fucked up, Mark.
It's true, goddammit.
What up?
So, Calvin, how you been?
I'm doing fine. Sitting here, chilling at the bus stop. Missed my bus. Waiting.
Well, at least we'll be able to keep you company. And hey, we got your buddy here.
What up, dude?
Hey, casshole, what's up?
Oh man, not much. Kind of late though, bro. I mean, not that that's not new. That's just Calvin.
Yeah, that's kind of my thing.
Alright, so Calvin, now it's your turn. We're going to ask you to weigh in on the rules committee changes. First thing we got to ask you is, how do you feel about the Vancouver Mulligan?
As far as the mulligan is concerned, I don't really give a damn. Like this, I understand that the mulligan is divided, or it's the same as in any other format, or whatever the case may be, but I'm probably still going to stick with the same type of mulligan I normally do, because That's the one that my group does. So unless my group decides to change it, it doesn't really matter to me because it's a damn mulligan. I don't care about the extra, like, 2% that this saves me.
Alright, so what about the fact that you can make all the colors of mana now?
That's a rule change that I'm actually happy for. It's one that we've been kind of calling for the longest, or at least I know I've been. Cassidy, you've been on that train with me, right?
Yeah, I mean, now that there's a colorless mana symbols, I'm kind of interested in both ways, but yeah, I agree with you there.
Because I'm pretty sure, like, that was something that we were discussing, like, way back when it was, like, me, you, and Christian doing the off-color cast.
Oh, I'm sure. That's
when we were talking about, like, rules that we wanted.
You wanted to be off-color when you were doing off-color cast?
Oh,
yeah,
man.
I wanted to play off-color in my commander.
Yeah, I mean, my segment was always based on rules, so I'm sure we talked about that at least a few times. We had 50 episodes before we just hated each other too much to continue.
Well, like, Kevin, you're aware that this is only about the mana, right? You still have a color identity.
And that shut him up.
I'm not stupid, William. I understand. And no, it's not William shutting me up. It's cars driving past that are shutting me up. Traffic of which William controls. That I don't like editing throughout the week. You have no idea how much harder editing CommanderCast has become now that I'm out here in the fucking streets.
I mean, it's hard for an editor on those streets.
Yeah.
Huh?
But, I mean, if you get robbed or something, we'll record it.
You'll have evidence as long as you unmute yourself.
Yeah.
Like unmute myself, like, please, sir, don't take my wallet. Oh, no, anything. Anything but the Arid Mesa. Please, just leave me that.
Alright, so what about the big one? Prophet of Kruphix getting banned.
Prophet of Kruphix getting banned doesn't really affect me because, one, I don't have any. And two, it kind of pisses off my brother because he has about 7. Like I could, what was it? Did you see that picture of the, Lay's potato chips flavored of Tears of My Enemy?
Yeah.
With the extra salty?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like as I told him and informed him about the changes to the rules and this stuff like that, because I kind of had to break down to him why the color change, why Rule 4 had to be lifted. And it's kind of difficult to talk to him when he's over the phone because I'm telling him about the waste basic lands, but he thinks I'm talking about wasteland.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and he's like, no, I don't understand why wasteland has anything to do with this. Like, no, it's not wasteland. The wastelands. He's like, hey, I've got like 6 of them. I don't understand why. This is an issue. It's like, no, they're basics now. Like, no, they're not. They're like, okay, fine. Like,
dude, I would like to run any number of copies of Wasteland in my deck.
Yeah, seems good.
If Wasteland were basic, that'd be sweet. Anyways.
So after going through the whole concept for I didn't waste the time telling him about the mulligan because it was one that I read over and I completely forgot it was even a thing. And then when I talked to him, I was like, hey, here's the keys you need to know. Point 1 is the color, and point 2 is the profit. And I didn't get to the profit until after I fully spent like a good 20, 30 minutes talking to him about waste and the color thing and how Birds of Paradise is now better. On the plus side, the color thing helps Experiment Crouch because now he can just go right ahead and put a +1 counter on anything, and now he can just use that colored mana as he sees fit for white activated abilities and green and blue and black and whatever.
Nice.
On the downside, now Experiment Crouch loses Prophet of Kruphix. So I consider it to be a fair trade.
No one cared.
Yep. And so I personally consider it to be a fair trade. Give up the profit, but have access to all these extra abilities that Experiment Garage couldn't do before. It's number 1 in my book.
And finally, Calvin. So, Seymour Muse spiked another $14 by this profit ban. Anything on that?
Nope. Don't care. I don't do finances. I don't get involved in the financial aspects of cards. If a card goes too far out of my range, if I have it, I don't buy it. If I need it and it's too high, I still don't get it. Just find something else.
Alright then. So, that about gets everyone as far as rules committee stuff. Now we can go on to our strategy section, where we're going to take a look at the brand new commands that we get with Oath of the Gatewatch.
Yay.
And that was all of the in-between dangles. So, have fun editing that, Calvin.
I'll get around to doing it. Trust me. Okay, fellas, I'm going to disappear real quick.
Alright.
Get on that bus, bro.
We're putting Calvin on the bus, and he's not going to be back. For a while.
Nope, I'm not getting on the bus. Someone keeps trying to call me while I'm on the Skype. So I'm going to get off the Skype, answer this phone call, and I'm going to hop back on Skype, and I'll be right back.
All
right. So now that we're done with that, we're going to go ahead and go into our Oath of the Gatewatch preview show, which by the time you're hearing this, we just had release weekend. So hope you don't value our opinion that highly and rely on us for your buying purchases. But we are going to go ahead and talk about the new commanders in our next segment. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. Yes, Oath of the Gatewatch is up. I can go ahead and search real quick.
Yeah, it's on Magic Cards down and stuff.
Yeah! My go-to search engine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yep, I was right. There are only 7 legendary creatures in the sets. I got them all. So, with Oath of the Gatewatch and the consolidation of 2 mediocre blocks into a solid small set, we have some pretty decent cards to talk about. So the first thing we're going to do is go through all 10 of these new commanders, and Mark is going to kick us off with General Tazri.
General Tazri. Alright, so General Tazri is a 5-mana, 3/4 human ally legend. No one cares about any of that, though. He's 4 colorless and 1 white.
I think people care about the creature typing there.
Yeah, the ally is pretty important kind of thing.
Well, damn, I didn't even get to the ally part. Fine. Alright, people care about allies. I know, I'm the ally guy. Let's talk about some fucking allies, people. So, when Tazri enters the battlefield, you may search your library for an ally. Dude's an ally. He's the general of the fucking allies. She? Is it a she?
Yeah, it's a she.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I can't see the... Sure. Okay, I'll go with you on that one.
Uncharted Realms,
right.
bro.
Okay.
Yeah, it's hard to tell, but yeah, I could see.
Sure, okay. Yeah, okay, we'll go with that. Whatever. Fuck it, it's 2016. It's a she. Who cares? So, you can search your library for an ally creature card, reveal it, put it into your hand, and shuffle your library. That is honestly, I think, the coolest part about this card. But it also has a sweet, kind of like ally overrun effect. For Wooburg, so 1 white, 1 blue, 1 black, 1 red, 1 green, ally creatures you control get +X until end of turn, where X is the number of colors among those creatures. I can't decide. I mean, I haven't actually been able to play with General Tazri at the helm of my 5-color allies deck, but I can't imagine that I would use the second ability more than I would use the first ability. Like, just using the first ability, I don't know, maybe killing Tazri or chump blocking something else just to get that ability again. Like, being able to search out the right ally at the right time, I think, especially in, like, a big 5-color allies deck, would be the best thing about that card. So it's kind of sweet that we got our own little, like, ally tutor.
Yeah. She's also not great if she's, like, the only card in play with that ability. It's like, yay. But just keeping 5 mana up is enough to, like, probably scare the crap out of the rest of the table for, like, the entire game. You know what I mean? So, I do agree it's kind of underwhelming sometimes, but it's like, it could happen at any time, oh my god, you know?
Yeah, she's super sweet. Like, the casting cost is this is sad, but the casting cost is my favorite part about this card. You know, like, 4 colorless and a white, that's pretty sweet for, like, especially in a deck where a lot of the other allies, it's not so much this set, but if you notice, like, a lot of the original Zendikar allies, they had a really nice casting cost in that, like, it was mostly colorless mana and then just 1 color on the back end. Some of them, like Muramasa Pyromancer, had, like, 2, like, you know, like 2 red or something, or 2 green. But most of them were, like, very splashable in a 5-color deck. So honestly, like, the ally 5-color thing is probably, obviously it's gonna be more of a deck now that we have a new general for it. But it's surprisingly castable in a lot of colors. So I was really happy to see it was 4 colorless and a white.
She's really good, like, strong. You know, they could have really half-assed, like, the big legend, like, what's that guy, Munda? He was so bad. Like,
Munda.
Weren't you the one who's actually almost convincing Calvin that Munda's playable?
Yeah, I tried. And then I tried Kalemne, and now I'm back to Gisela.
That seems like the stages of grief or something, you know? Or like denial, acceptance, anger.
Yeah, like, terrible. Alright, let's just go back. Although there's more allies now. That was the other thing, too. I was waiting for more allies for Munda. I haven't even really thought about it too much because, you know, General Tazri seems much better, but, I'm sure I'll get around to seeing if Munda's good again. We'll see. I don't know.
You can actually just play Kazri as, like, a white X ally commander. Like, if you just didn't want to play 5-color, you could actually just play her as the red-white commander.
Yeah.
Pretend Munda doesn't exist.
Put, like, Fist of the Sun in there, just for the fun.
So, Mark, since you're going to have to leave at around 9 o'clock, why don't you go ahead and give us your impression of this set's allies? You were pretty upset with Battle for Zendikar that a lot of the allies were really bad. Did they fix that at all?
I am more excited about the allies in this set. I mean, the last set, you know, I know I said a bunch of times, like, even in an allies heavy set, there weren't that many allies I would actually play. I mean, fucking Munda always he just burns me so many times. Yeah, that goddamn piece of shit. But now, like, there's some really cool ones, like, Stonehaven Outfitter. I mean, anytime a white card says draw a card, and it's not a cantrip, like, I'm really excited. So, like, duh, like, that was pretty good.
And Skullclamp, hello. Come on.
Yeah. And, like, I mean, it's not technically an ally card, but Oath of Gideon is pretty sweet. I will probably try out Oath of Gideon just because, like, my ally deck, like, I don't know what other people's ally deck do, but mine is built around just stupid ally triggers. So, and, like, just having two, like, the ability to pay 3 mana and get 2 white allies on the battlefield, or just any allies, would do it for me. So that one's pretty cool. I mean, it also has that neat little loyalty counter thing, which would come in less, like, I don't play that many, but I guess maybe in a Super Friends deck, that would be kind of sweet, sorta.
Even giving, like, Elspeth a +1, or, like, you know, like, the 3 mana, Ajani, you know. Like, that,
yeah.
It seems good anyways, you know, cause, like, it's not a big deal, but the benefit is so huge, especially in white, I feel, you know.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they definitely picked the right color for that effect.
Yeah.
But they also had some neat stuff, like, I don't know, the cohort mechanic, I'm not really sold on. I mean, I'll have to see how it plays out. Maybe it'll be awesome. Like, things like Drawn as Chosen, you know, to tap an untapped ally you control and put a 2/2 black zombie onto the battlefield. Like, that's kind of neat. But some of the other ones, it's like, you know, I would definitely be putting, like, Malakir Soothsayer in there to tap an ally and draw a card and lose the life. Like, yep, I will tap it to do, like, Ladyfingers, or half a Ladyfinger, I guess. So.
But the fingers are still attached to the lady.
To one finger? I don't, fuck, I lost a metaphor somewhere in there. Shit, I don't know. But, yeah, I don't know. I mean, they're not super overpowered, but they seem like I am less angry. Like, I was angry at Battle for Zendikar. I'm like, you motherfuckers, like, you made an ally set that I don't give a shit about. Like, fuck you so hard. So, I don't know. I'm more excited about the things that are non-allies in this set, but whatever, I'll give it a pass. So.
Alright, so what other stuff are you excited about from this set?
From this set, you know, sadly, like, there's, like, the little things I'm excited about. Like, Kazul's Toll Collector. It's fucking stupid, but Kazul's Toll Collector just has 0 attached target equipment you control to Kazul's Toll Collector. You can only use it as a sorcery, but I'm the big artifact nerd, so anytime I see, like, ooh, 0, like, attach it for free? I don't know, my fucking brain just goes bananas, so I just love that shit. Like, the idea of having this, alright, this is how sad my dreams are. So if I had Kazul's Toll Collector, and then Stonehaven Outfitter, and Pure Steel Paladin at the same time.
Legit.
Oh my god. Like, that is like the saddest Boros wet dream ever. It's so pathetic, but.
I wanna use that Kazula Toll Collector with, Bludgeon Brawl. That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
I actually like this guy.
I mean, it looks pretty sweet, you know?
Yeah.
Like, so like the little effects like that are what I'm really excited for, you know? So I'm happy when I can get that out of the set. The rest of the stuff looks cool. I'm not huge into the Eldrazi's. I mean, the Oaths look okay, you know, as we're talking about cycles. There's that Zendikar Resurgent I'm interested in. I'm like, that seems kind of neat, but like 7 mana for an enchantment, like, I don't know.
It'll be really good in the Maelstrom Wanderer deck.
Yeah, sure, you know. Bonds of Mortality, I think, is probably the other one that I'm kind of interested in. Yeah. Like, that one looks really sweet. You know, Bonds of Mortality is just 1 colorless and a green for an enchantment. When Bonds of Mortality enters the battlefield, the cantrips, you can draw a card. But pay 1 green, and creatures your opponents control lose hexproof and indestructible until end of turn.
Gotcha.
Like, all creatures, not just a creature. So, like, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah, I like that one. Yeah.
So.
All I heard was Boros' wet dream. What was that?
Yeah, okay, Calvin. Kazul's Toll Collector, Stonehaven Outfitter, and Pure Steel Paladin. Boom. Come on. Nuts are busting all over the Boros battalion.
Just give me all the weapons. All your equipment.
All the weapons. Draw some cards in Boros colors.
And then get him back with, like, Resurrection.
I was thinking of Aurelia and Gisela fanfic when you said Boros Wet Dream, but I'll just go with what you guys say.
Whatever. I mean, you can pick your own Boros Wet Dream. Whatever's gonna do it for you. It's good.
Alright. So, Mark, feel free to hang out for as long as you want, but just let us know when you need to duck out, alright?
Cool.
Alright, so Calvin, did you have anything you wanted to add in about General Tazri, our 5-color ally commander?
Actually, I just kind of wanted to hear what Mark had to say about it, but seeing as I'm the editor, I'm going to hear what he said about it anyway, because I wasn't here when he said it, but I will hear him when he said it.
Time travel!
Seems good.
Alright, so next up we're going to go on to our next Mythic Legendary, and this is what I'm actually really enchanted by, Linvala the Preserver. She's 4 WW, Legendary Angel, flying 5/5. Now, you might remember Linvala from before as a 3/4 flyer for 4, shuts down activated abilities, sees a lot of sideboard play in Modern, really powerful card. Should have been in front of all Angels, but neither here nor there. She's got flying, and she's got timely reinforcements built into her. When she enters the battlefield and an opponent has more life than you, gain 5 life. When she enters the battlefield and someone controls more creatures than you, get a 3/3 flying angel token, which, if I remember correctly, I think that angel token is actually worth almost $3 right now. If only because people haven't opened enough of them.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Pretty tokens.
Yeah, I did not put in angle token. What are you talking about? Yeah. So, I'm actually really enchanted by this. Right now, I'm getting ready to do the From Alpha build with Abyss and Guardian Angel, but I'm looking at Linvala, and I'm wondering if I don't actually want to try her out as my commander for a little while. She's good enough that I'm actually looking at her in Kalia, too, because Kalia eats through her own life quite a bit. So I could actually put Linvala in there and pretty reliably get a replenish of life, like 5 life, that's 2 activations of Phyrexian Reclamation, or a couple of Ladyfingers. Definitely, it's 2 cards worth for Erebos. 2 cards and a half, actually.
And those are 2 ETB triggers, right? Not just casting?
Yeah.
Okay. Just checking.
Pretty good. I like her.
So those Rune Blink decks are going to have a fun time putting her in, right?
Kind of. She's not an effect that you can abuse, because as soon as you have the most life, you stop getting life. As soon as you have the most creatures, you stop getting 3/3 angels.
She's still a sizable body, though.
She is.
6 is kind of a lot, I feel, a little bit for her size, but, and she really doesn't really compare to the first Linvala even slightly, but, she's still pretty good. I'll take her. We'll put her in some Angel zombie good stuff,
Yeah, she's definitely stronger on her own than Avacyn is.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, especially when it comes to that deck. Avacyn's kind of weird. This one's definitely better than the Avacyn reprint, like by a million miles.
Alright, so if no one else had Linvala, then we can go on to Kalidas. So who had Kalidas?
I'll do Kalidas. So Kalidas is 2 colors, black, lifelink vampire warrior. He's in pretty much the same pose as he is in the last one, except for now he has like this weird gross Eldrazi thing going on in his head. Anyways, so there's lifelink. Now if a non-token creature an opponent controls would die, instead exile that card and get a 2/2 black zombie token onto the battlefield. We also have the activated ability of 2 black, sack another vampire, or a zombie, to put 2 +1/+1 counters on Kalidas. So, in a lot of ways, he's kind of like, gonna be the next standard answer to Anafenza. He has a very similar ability to Anafenza, actually makes a token instead, but then can turn the tokens into +1 counters, so it really feels like a mono black Anafenza. And then, lifelink is pretty nice. I like this guy a lot, because the first Kalidas was like 7 to cast, and he was really cool, but like 7 to cast just was too prohibitive.
Basically useless.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if he was toned down and was closer to 5 or 4 like this, he probably would have been one of the better used cards. So, I really think that at 3/4 for a lifelink that can get bigger, this guy's gonna be really good in like the mid-range game, probably the reanimation game, like probably put him in like maybe a birthing pod chain, because it's a really solid 4-drop, and if you don't need him, just get rid of him,
Actually, I see him being pretty good in the mono black control deck, actually.
Yeah, that too, yeah. I mean, just the fact that Anafenza just like, I stopped playing Carador basically because of Anafenza, and like, obviously it's just getting worse, with a mono black version, so it's not just junk decks that are just wrecking me. So yeah, I mean, it's control-y too, and he can get huge himself with like terrible, like, you can turn all the, Army of the Damned tokens into like one big colitis, you know, so yeah, he's pretty good.
Alright then, so next on our list we have Eiley, Eternal Pilgrim. So, we're gonna go back to me for this one. Eiley, Eternal Pilgrim. She's only 2 mana, white and black.
What was that? Pilgrim?
Yeah, the Eternal Pilgrim.
Aisling? Is Aisling back?
No. This is her white cousin.
Much more attractive.
Oh, okay.
So,
More attractive, but not as hot.
I know, I almost said hot, but then I was like, no, that's not correct, actually.
So, for 2 mana, you get a 2/3 core clearance who has Death Touch.
For 2 mana.
Alright.
2/3 Death Touch. For 2
Not
mana.
bad.
Alright, I'm on board. So, for 1 and sack another creature, gain life equal to the sacrificed creature's toughness. Alright, I'm interested. That's definitely better than the original Ghost Dad.
Mm-hmm.
So, for 1 white black, sack another creature, exile target non-land permanent, activate this ability only if you have at least 10 life more than your starting life total.
Man, super intense.
Ability basically reads that if you sack another creature, you get to eat their booty like it's groceries.
Gotta eat the ass.
Yep, and I'm out.
Yep.
Have a good night, guys. See you.
Alright, good night, Mark. So, yeah, Eiley eats that ass, and if you happen to have 50 or more life in Commander, she starts turning creatures into Utterans. Let's ignore the fact that this wants me to start playing black in Soul Sisters. And, I don't know, like, I liked Daxos, but at the same time, it felt like I kind of had to babysit him. You know?
Yeah.
Like, you gotta protect Daxos, you gotta make sure he's out there so he can get experience counters and make tokens to make use of those experience counters. But with Lee, she actually kind of feels that Reanimator black-white deck that I'm kind of looking at. When you're looking at the black-white Reanimator deck, you're looking at either like Vishkal, who costs like 1 million mana, or the original Ghost Dad, who, okay, you can sack something for 1, blink him out, come back and drain something for 1, but that's such a nominally small effect. But with Eiley, it's no, she's much more greedy than that. It's actually, hey, sack a big thing, get all this life, and now that big thing's in your graveyard so you can reanimate it again. And I think that might actually be more in line with what I want to do with black-white.
Yeah. She's really good too, just because of that Death Touch, man. Like, so for such a small creature, she can block most of the big Eldrazi's in the set, and even like Kozilek can just take him down. And like, give her first strike, and then all of a sudden she's like absolutely murdering everything on the field. So yeah.
Nice. Like you give her like the Moon Silver Spear.
Yeah, anything really. Like,
let her attack, make a 4/4 buddy, stack the 4/4 to gain 4 life, and whatever blocks her just dies.
Actually, that's a good call.
So, question. Show of hands, gentlemen. Taking this general, putting her with a Soul Sister build like William was discussing, and then calling the deck Dark Soul Sisters.
I think she would go really well, like almost interchangeably in a Karlov deck. Like it would be much less aggressive and more mid-rangey and control-y, but they would play basically the same cards.
Go ahead, sorry.
I keep looking at the black-white commanders, and I keep thinking what I really want to do is I want to build a black-white deck that actually just plays most, if not all, of those commanders, because they do so many similar things that are just different enough.
Yeah. I think Soul Sisters is better for Karlov because he's a little bit more early game. Whereas I think, Ailey might be, you were talking about reanimation, like a true, like, kind of big fatty reanimation deck might be better for Ailey, cause, the big creatures and stuff like that, and then, then, if they're gonna kill your big creatures, turn it into a freaking exile, why not? But, I think they build similar decks, but Ghost Dad is so much faster, and she's so slow, and she has, like, control type abilities, so, like, but she doesn't have the combo that, like, that Baby Tesa does, cause, Baby Tesa is kind of similar. She has an exile effect, but Baby Tesa just turns into like Combo City if you do it right. So I think she kind of has her own deck like you said, it's similar. They're all make similar decks, but I really think that she could be good with like Karmic Guide and like Iona if you're that kind of person, or just like, any like a Rune Scar Demon type deck, more like big fatties like that get you a lot of value.
Oh, if you think about it this way, like, a lot of the black effects that reanimate end up costing you life, right? Like the Phyrexian Delver, reanimate, a lot of those effects actually drain you for like the creature's power or their converted mana cost. And Isley helps you get like a reimbursement on that when the creature is ready to die.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point.
So yeah, the more I'm thinking about it, the more I actually like that quite a bit. Go ahead, Gus.
I was just gonna say, I really think the big fatty reanimation deck is pretty cool. I like that idea. She's a cheap general, but like she plays a long game, so I think like you can kind of keep her around if she dies a few times. You're not so worried.
In those colors, you also have a lot of cheap token production. Like if you just throw a Bitter Blossom out there, when you get your life total high enough, you're just vindicating every turn.
You're apologizing to the table as everything is exiled. I'm so sorry. I did foresee this.
Dude, throw an illusionist bracers on her. You are golden.
Yeah, that's a sub.
Ooh, yeah. Okay, I'm getting more hyped for Isley now.
I read her when she was first spoiled, but she was so shiny that I couldn't even really like comprehend. This is really the first time I've sat down and like really understand what she's doing, honestly, because like, oh, that legend's coming later. There's a lot of words. I'll get to that later,
And like, I could actually see getting like another copy to put into my Carador deck too.
Yeah, definitely Carador, and she's really good with like Sisay too. And that if you play Captain Sisay and Carador, because she's a really cheap legend, you can just go get real easy.
Nah, but I do play Sisay into Revenue.
No, that won't work as well.
Nah.
I'm not a fan of that.
Alright, so, Clay, why don't you go ahead and introduce us to Jory N. That is, assuming Calvin didn't have anything else to say about Isley.
Nope, nothing really to say about Isley. So, I'm just gonna mute, as per usual.
Alright, so go ahead, Clay.
Okay. Jory N, Ruin Diver, is kind of a cool dude. I can't tell.
I think this one's a girl.
I can't tell. Well, we'll go with female. Because it seems like most of the legends in this set are female, except for, Kalidas and Den and Kozilek. But, Jory N, Ruin Diver, is a 2/3 Merfolk Wizard for 1 blue and a red. So Merfolk are branching out just a little bit more. And her text is simply, whenever you cast your second spell each turn, draw a card. So, essentially, like in any sort of deck where you want to be casting multiple things, like say maybe a Mizzix or a blue-red sort of storm thing, or even like blue-red value spells, can just get some extra stuff. She's really cheap to cast, and she's not that threatening. So people probably won't go out of their way to kill her, but if you have, say, like an Isochron Scepter to be your first spell each turn, maybe that says draw a card to draw into a second spell, draw an extra card off of the trigger, or a Possibility Storm, so you cast one spell, and then you flip into a second one, and because that is your second spell, you draw a card, just by casting one. Sadly, it only ever triggers once per turn, but it's each turn. So if you cast spells on your opponent's turns as well, you can just get some extra cards off of it.
She looks like she would be best friends with Mizzix.
Yeah.
I might consider putting her in. I like to cast more than 2 spells each turn, but an extra card isn't that bad.
I'm just trying to figure out why is it that blue seems to be slowly creaking its way into my color scheme. It's bad enough we got a blue-red goblin. Now we got a red-blue merfolk. Go back to the water, fish stick. Sick and tired of you floating around up here. It's like it's a mountain. There's nothing up here for you. Go home.
Calvin's racist tirade against Merfolk.
Fantastic racism.
I mean, because of Mizzix, this card is kind of underwhelming a little bit, It's not one of those situations where it's like, oh, you could put Mizzix in Jorian, or you could put Jorian in Mizzix. It's like, no. Jorian probably just needs to go in Mizzix because Mizzix is a much better general. But on the other hand, there's not a lot of great Izzet generals for that price, so, if you don't have a Mizzix or you just don't want to play him, like, Jorian seems fine,
You know what Jorian really loves? Possibility Storm.
Yeah.
That's what I just
said.
Oh, did you? I'm sorry.
I was just about to say, didn't Clay just say that?
And you know what everyone hates? Possibility Storm.
Yeah, Possibility Storm is the worst.
And yet, if you ask Sheldon, he will tell you that it's literally the card that he imagines when you ask what card embodies EDH.
No one gets to play anymore.
Sheldon, if you are listening, I mean no offense, but fuck that.
Hey, you can tell him yourself next week.
Fair.
Alright, so that's Jory, and we apparently have Calvin's opinion. So, Cassie, why don't you introduce us to the twins?
Oh, sure. So we have Mina and Den.
Titty.
Wildborn. Yeah. Some elf ally titties. It's 2 colorless red-green, so 4 altogether. Legendary elf allies. They're 4/4, so 4/4 for 4 is pretty sweet. That's like really nice Thrun level. We like that. Now, first off, they can play an additional land on each of our turns. So basically Oracle, Moldiah, Exploration. And then they have the activated ability of red-green and return a land that we control to its owner's hand. And then target creature gains trample until end of turn. So I really, really like these guys a lot. There's been a lot of good red-green legends lately anyways, but I think these guys are kind of the better ones. Like, I think I've heard probably a million people have told me that Oracle and Moldiah should be a legend so they could play, as their general. And this is as close as we get. I mean, they are the leader of the Moldiah, if I understand correctly.
Yep.
Yep. So I think they're really, really good. I like that they're cheaper than Omnath and Bobarigmos, which are my 2, red-green go-tos right now.
So, final thoughts on Mina and Den, Cassie.
I have nothing anymore. Yeah, they're good.
So, Calvin,
Really cool.
So, Calvin, what do you think about the Wonder Twins?
Let's see here. Well, the one thing about it is, if elves were more in red, I'd be excited. Because then I could build, a red-green elf deck, but the only one I can really think of is, Bloodbraid Elf.
I mean, Rada aggro is already kind of a thing. Can kind of work with that.
I mean, don't get me wrong. It's I'm pretty sure there's you can build a red-green aggro deck, but whenever I happen to see a creature type in a color combination that it normally isn't in, the first thing that comes to my mind is, can I build a tribal deck based on this particular color combination that was unavailable to me before? Elves in white, that's one thing. Elves in green and black, that's another thing. Elves in green and red are few and far between.
Yeah. She doesn't really
Merfolk in blue and red?
To hell with you, Clay.
I mean, we just got one.
Yeah, we had one before, and we talked about how stupid that one was. A merfolk that pings. Ugh. The hell you know about shocking fish?
That's a goblin thing. Oh, wait.
So, Mina and Den Wildborn, we're very happy to have them. It's going to be Oracle Moldiah number 2 in a bunch of red green things, I imagine. This one's for sure going to go into a Tarka and Karthus, which is good.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. 2 copies of them.
They are really cool. They're really good for the green-red Stompy deck, because for some reason not everything in green and red already has trample. I know Hayes pulled one out of one of his prize packs at a pre-release, and he's probably going to try and fit it into Prosh, because having that extra, hey, we can ramp with you, and then we can also turn that ramping into just more damage getting pushed through. So, it's cool.
Yeah, I feel like they'll be in most every red-green deck out there. It's kind of like Oracle Moldiah. It's just so good. There's so many different things for it. I just think they'll be found.
If it's late game and you're not drawing that many lands, you can, redo your land drops.
Mm-hmm.
If you, for some reason, here's a wonder scenario here. Let's say you have 4 or 5 dudes, and one of them is Mina and Den, and you have a Xenagos, Planeswalker. And so you plus your Xenagos, and you get 4 or 5 mana. You tap your Gaia's Cradle for 4 more, use Mina and Den to bounce it, play it again, tap it, use the other mana from Xenagos to bounce it, play it again, tap it. Make 15 mana for almost no investment.
You could also have fun with the Gruul double land,
that comes into play tapped.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's like Amulet of Vigor style shenanigans, yeah.
Or Nykthos.
Yeah. And Nykthos also
things
makes
that let you return lands to your hand are really powerful, especially if they give you an extra land drop to replay that land. That's what I like most about these guys.
That's a good point.
Form of an incredibly broken card.
Basically.
The thing that comes to my mind when I was thinking about it is not using her as a commander, but putting her in a deck, a red, blue, green deck. Mm-hmm. Using her ability to put lands back into my hand, and then using the blue to shuffle them away to get other cards. Yeah, if I brainstormed her as something, or a Skull Rack, or whatever. The lands are back in my hand. kind of thinned my deck out, but that's okay because I can now play this, activate it, bounce the lands back to my hand, use the scroll rack, shuffle these cards from my hand back into my library, and draw a whole new hand.
I also really like Valakut with her, with those two. You know, just returning that mountain every turn to get super value out of it.
Ooh, yeah. Twice.
Yeah, 6 damage a turn.
Here's my mountain. Bounce it. Here's my mountain. Take it.
Yep, exactly.
Oh, really, though? Why wouldn't you want to do that?
Valakut's so good.
Because you're a fish.
Escape Shift is $1 million now, by the way, as well. Speaking of Valakut.
Yep, that twin band.
Yep.
Alright, so Clay, why don't you introduce us to our newest, biggest bad?
Alrighty, the last legendary creature that we got in this set is Big Daddy Kozilek, back from his nap in the core of Zendikar or something like that. Kozilek, the Great Distortion, you probably saw it a couple months ago when it got leaked. It's got a whopping 10 mana casting cost. It costs 8 generic mana and 2 colorless mana, so 8 diamond, looking at what it is. When it is a 12/12 legendary creature, Eldrazi. When you cast Kozilek, the Great Distortion, if you have fewer than 7 cards in hand, draw cards equal to the difference. So you get to refill your hand, possibly more than the old Kozilek did, which only drew you 4 cards. It has evasion, it has menace, as opposed to anything else that it could possibly have. So it could have had trample. It could have had oh no. Kozilek and Ulamog don't fly, that's only Emrakul that does. But it could have had trample. It could have had anything, but it has menace. So they have to block it with 2 dudes because he's just that big that you could put 2 squirrels in front of it, and yeah, you need to use 2 squirrels to block it instead of just 1. But you would need 12 squirrels to kill it.
Give me all your mana dorks.
And then he also has a nifty activated ability. Discard a card with converted mana cost X. So you discard a card from your hand and it looks at what the CMC is. Counter target spell with converted mana cost X. So you cast your Birds of Paradise, I discard a Brainstorm, your birds get countered. Yeah, that sort of thing. So, because you just drew 7 cards from casting it, we probably have something at matching mana cost to, yes, that is what I was referencing, William. So yeah, Kozilek is really cool. I have been talking to playgroups about building a ridiculous Kozilek deck, where the thing is, yes, it is colorless, it has no color identity, but I want to build 5-color Devoid. So what I've been talking to people about is, if we took that 8 generic mana, and took 5 of it away and just added Wooburg to the cost, so in the end, Kozilek would cost 3 Wooburg CC, so ridiculously heavy cost. But then I could play anything that is devoid. Every card in the deck has to be colorless, due to being colorless or having the characteristic defining ability that is devoid. So then I'd get to build 5-color Tribal Eldrazi, not using the old ones, unfortunately. I would love to go infinite with a Ulamog's Hatcher and the Blinky dude. But it would still be a really fun deck to build. The Pain lands would be absolutely amazing because they could tap for colors or for my colorless costs. But that is what I plan to eventually do with Kozilek. And I plan to create an engine using Codex Shredder and Rings of Brighthearth to continuously loop cards back to my hand to discard to counter stuff, because I want to be an asshole like that.
What I love most about Kozilek isn't the fact that he has counter spells, or that he just completely refills your hand. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love that he completely refills your hand. But the fact that this Kozilek requires diamond in its mana cost, it makes me feel like my colorless deck is actually true color identity colorless now.
Mm.
You had that with the other Eldrazi and Karn, but aesthetically it just feels like, yeah.
It feels better.
It feels proper.
I mean, I just like him because he gives counter spells to black and green and white, whatever color you end up playing him in, because I'm never a big fan of blue. It's way too exclusive of a lot of the abilities. especially counterspells. There's almost no counterspells outside of blue. So I feel like this guy gives a lot more like heaviness to the late game, where something like a handful of counterspells can just basically stop a late game play. But Kozilek, you get him out. If they have a counterspell, they'll probably try to counter him, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I mean, if he's in play or you cheat him into play or something like that, like just sneak attack him at instant speed so you can counterspell or whatever. I don't know. It's just nice. I mean, I'm not always a big fan of bleeding the color pie, but I feel like the counter there's a lot of abilities that have stuck to blue that haven't bled out as much, and I really wanted to see that more, anyways. And we also see it with like the other colorless counterspell. I can't remember the name of it because I don't know the set well enough. But,
Not of this world?
Yeah.
No, the newer one that has a true colorless symbol on it. It counters. It's like a modal spell. It counters sorcery.
Warped Whale.
Yeah.
Warping
Yeah.
Whale.
Something like that. Yeah, warping whale. So I like that. I like that a lot. I like the kind of the way the waste mana is bending the color pie, but also it's not easy. Like when they gave you like Ulamog, it's just easy. But this makes it a little bit more difficult. You can't just cast it with basic lands, which is what a lot of blue decks do and a lot of basic decks have to do in general. They get to avoid having non-basic lands. That was one of the things they got to do, So I just feel like it adds a lot to a lot of different ways. And Kozilek's kind of like you said, William, it's kind of like an officialness to colorless and just having to deal with it, and just a whole bunch of new mechanics that I think are really interesting.
What about you, Calvin?
Something I wanted to chime in there about this. Well, it's not even just like the card. The card is what it is. Like, storyline-wise, I just kind of imagine Kozilek just kind of like being like the angry dad from upstairs. Or like, like he's taking a nap and everybody else is like having this huge party and he just kind of shows up like, what the hell's going on here, with a belt ready to whoop all the ass.
He does show up and then kill Vorthos, like, in the first 5 seconds or something like that.
Oh yeah, like, Fiora's like, I'm gonna summon the biggest fucking sea monster this plane has to offer. And Kozilek is just like, you're dead.
Yeah, he just, like, literally just stomps on him or stabs him or something, and just like, bye.
What happened to Kiora? I haven't caught up on the storyline.
I have no clue.
Yeah.
Can I just say something I really
Did
want to
she steal
see happen?
something? Kiora's a thief. I'm pretty sure she stole something.
She stole my heart.
With Kozilek's first ability, the when you cast it if you have 7 cards, or less than 7 cards, yada yada, because it says if they cast him and they don't have 7 cards, or never mind, that wouldn't actually work. Let me, hold on.
I can hear Clay's brain clicking as he's trying to figure out a way to break this clause.
I want to see someone,
And he's got it.
I want to
Go
see
get him,
someone who has Kozilek have exactly 7 cards in hand when they cast him. Or, like, he has the 7th card. But they are, like, all lands, and they just want to completely refill their hand, and they're just like, we're going to cast Kozilek, and in response to the trigger, cast 1 with nothing. Discard the hand. Draw. Yeah.
You could do that with the twins.
True.
Put them lands back into your hand.
But then you might as well just not put them back in. If you're going to be
Yeah, but I'm
discarding.
saying, like, if you're trying to get to that amount that you're looking for.
My
for the
brain
7
wanted
cards.
to do something silly, like causing someone to not draw the cards, but then I realized that if they started with 7 other cards in hand, the ability wouldn't even trigger in the first place. So then there would be no way to just, like, spike it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, that would work. To just, like, completely screw someone over. Let's say I have a hypersonic dragon. You have 7 cards in your hand and you cast your Kozilek, so you already have 7 cards. So the ability doesn't trigger at all, because you already have the 7 cards, because it's an if clause. So the ability doesn't trigger, and then, since I have this hypersonic dragon, I'm just gonna be like, wits end you at instant speed, discard your hand. The trigger never happened, so you don't have something dumb like that.
So is that music I'm hearing in the background now?
Yeah.
From someone.
That was my phone alarm for bed, but I forgot I don't have to go to bed on Thursdays, so I need to change that.
So we've got Cassidy's beard, my cards, and William's bedtime ringtone. Yay.
We did
Amazing. Come on, Clay. Put that ukulele in there.
Let me, okay. No.
And now the show is complete because that interrupting bitch of a Navi has decided to jump in. My life is finally finished. I can just die happy.
Alright, so overall, really like the commander lineup that we got in Oath of the Gatewatch. You guys feel pretty strong about this class?
Sorry?
I think they're all fairly playable.
Yeah, I like
Amazingly.
all the cards. Yeah.
Like, General Tazri, it was definitely we'll finally give people a 5-color ally commander, and so she's slightly lacking. But everyone else seems perfectly fine and playable.
Alright then, we're all done with these commanders. So next up, we're going to go into the final segment. We're going to go ahead and just gush about the rest of the cards that we're looking forward to playing with. Stay tuned everyone, we'll be right back.
Send me a list. Sorry, I'm yawning. Kind of have to do a midnight release.
How many cards each are we doing for this?
Alright, so there's 4 of us.
I am doing 0.
So there's 3 of us. So... Alright, so when you're going through your boxes of Gatewatch, pre-release packs, booster packs, draft fodder, all that other stuff, and you're looking for stuff to pull, go ahead and try and keep some of these in mind, because these are some of the cards that we're looking forward to playing with, some of the cards that we're excited by, and some of the cards that I may or may not have already cherry-picked before we put out our stuff in the case. Just saying. So, first thing we're going to do is, we're going to look at the Planeswalkers, because, of course, those are our icons for the set. So, guys, who wants to read off Chandra Flamecaller?
I'll do
Chandra.
Go ahead, Cass.
Alright. I'm a big fan. Alright, so we have the new Chandra Flamecaller. She's 4 red, so 6 altogether. Starts with 4 loyalty. Is of course a Planeswalker Chandra. Now we have a +1 ability to put 2 3/1 red elemental creature tokens with haste onto the battlefield, and then they exile at the beginning of the next end step. So, basically exiling kind of like Ball Lightnings. I forget what the 3/1 was, like Spark Runner or whatever.
I think it's Spark Elemental.
Spark Elemental, thank you. Yeah, so she makes 2 Spark Elementals, pretty good.
Yeah.
Her 0 ability is discard all the cards in your hand and then draw that many +1, which might be one of the strongest draw cards on a Planeswalker in general. The
Certainly
+1
the
is
best one we've seen on a Chandra.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is probably the best Chandra. I mean, there's a few that are pretty good, but I feel like this is the best, at least for EDH. And you'll see why.
I still really like Pyromaster.
Pyromaster is also really good.
She is really good, and then I also like the rebound one on God, I can't remember her name anymore. Whatever, the 4-drop one that
Narset Rebound?
Narset.
No, not sorry. The one that she copies the next spell you cast. It's a Chandra.
Firebrand.
Firebrand, thank you. I like both of those a lot, so I don't know if she's necessarily better than them, but I feel like she's a little bit more universal. She's also the first one to make creatures, which I think is pretty important for Planeswalkers, but they can't defend, because they die at the end of turn, so it's kind of moot. The big reason I like her, though, is her final ability, which is -X, and she deals X damage to each creature. So it's not really an ultimate, because it can be played right away. You can pay 6 and basically deal 4 damage to all creatures, right away.
Yeah.
But just in general.
Not bad.
No, yeah, exactly. And I mean, like, most of the offense we've been getting from Chandra has been, like, deal 1 damage to a creature, and then, I think it was Pyromaster who made it so that creature couldn't block. Oh my god, right?
Yeah.
Now she actually wrecks space. She will destroy entire armies without even really thinking about it, which is the way that I think she should have always been. 6 is a little high. That's the only thing that I don't like, but I'm okay. I'm okay with it. They gave her good abilities. She's not terrible at all. And like, that's more than we've asked for in a long time for Chandra personally,
She's an absolute beast in the limited environment.
Yeah, of course.
Because the like aggressive Naya decks, like, for the pre-release that I played it, I ended up in basically Naya allies, and there was one match where my opponent had Chandra in the one game that he drew him. I just could not do anything. Like, Chandra came down, immediately neg-freed to wipe my board, and then was just sixing me every turn. I couldn't do anything.
She's actually just fantastic with Omnath, because
Ooh, yeah.
if they don't block the elementals, they take 6. If they block the elementals, they take 6.
Yeah, that's true. Good point.
So, Calvin's having trouble connecting, but we'll ask him when he gets back on.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Clay, why don't you go ahead and read Nissa off for us?
Nissa, voice of Zendikar. She's finally back on her home plane, and her home plane is finally liking her again.
Yeah.
She costs 1 and a green, so she only costs 3. She's the cheapest green planeswalker we've had, I think, aside from Domri.
Yeah.
She comes in with 3 loyalty. +1, she protects herself by putting a 0/1 green plant creature token onto the battlefield. -2 is probably the most relevant ability that she has, because it's so powerful. -2, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. So if you're going wide, which if you're in green you probably are, she's a 3-mana Anthem, and then she pluses and makes another dude. The next turn you can kill her to get another set of +1/+1 counters. She's really strong. And if no one is attacking you, you can just keep making plants and then eventually build up to the ultimate, which is -7. So if she gets played on turn 3 and just keeps plussing, you'll hit it on turn 7. And it says, you gain X life and draw X cards, where X is the number of lands you control. So if you play her on 2 or 3, if you have a turn 1 mana dork, and you just keep doing your mono green ramp thing, by the time you alter, you're probably drawing at least 10 cards, which is nuts. Absolutely nuts.
But...
Go ahead, Zach.
No, you go ahead, because all I was going to say was like, but they're only 0/1 plants.
So?
I mean...
They block. And Avenger of Zendikar makes them bigger.
Exactly. She's basically Avenger of Zendikar on a very tiny planeswalker body, honestly.
But really?
Yeah. I mean, this is the first Nissa that, like, actually makes tokens, as opposed to either, animates lands or goes and grabs out that, weird elf creature. So that's nice. Like you said, the army buff is really nice. I'm kind of have mixed feelings on her. I don't feel like she has a really big impact in EDH because she doesn't do too much. I feel like she's probably going to be ridiculous in, like, more limited formats or like, the competitive formats.
She's still strong.
Yeah, she's still strong, but, like, when I'm thinking about all the other planeswalkers I use, like, the Worldwaker Nissa untaps a bunch of lands, Garruk Wildspeaker, he untaps lands, the green planeswalkers are just so much more impactful than her. But, like you mentioned, the +1 counters on all your creatures could be really, really important in the later game. I don't feel like it works well in the Stompy type deck, but like in a token deck, like Rice the Redeemed or something, she's probably going to be really, really good.
Oh yeah. Like, I will, if her price settles down after the pre-release hype, I'm probably going to pick one up to stick in Dagatar.
Yeah.
Just because getting those counters is super important.
Be good in decks like Gav too,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any of the Abzan counter decks.
I'm probably going to pick one up from Wrath, but more so because she has the Ajani give everyone a counter buff than anything else. Like, I'm not knocking the fact that Avengers Zendikar can in fact pump the plant tokens that she's making.
They also block pretty well.
No, they don't. They're literally just speed bumps. And not effective speed bumps.
But if they don't have trample, then it doesn't matter. A blocker is a blocker.
But it means they're also swinging into them without the risk of trading.
A blocker is a blocker, William.
But Elspeth makes a token. It's a 1/1, and it has the possibility of trading with other tokens.
Elspeth costs twice as much.
Well, not the first Elspeth.
At Night Errant, she costs 1 more and makes 1 extra dude. And those tokens have the chance of trading by themselves. But the 0/1 plant is just, I don't see those plants.
She's a 3-mana planeswalker that makes a body. You can't really expect it to be a 1/1.
And not only that, but I mean, like, when in the grand scheme of things, at least she's making a token, and you can pretty easily make those tokens bigger. It's not impossible, so there is some aspects to it, but definitely they aren't great blockers. It could be much worse though. Like it could be like a minus ability or a 0 ability or something like that, At least it's the +1. You're getting a little bit of value while you're plussing her, at least,
Alright. So let's go ahead and get on to our main cards. My first one is going to be the Baloth Null. So in this set we got a cycle of gold cards to help kind of lead drafts, which means the primary bulk of this set is either devoid or monocolor. And I'm actually okay with it after the craziness that was the Collins set, so. Baloth Knoll, 4 black-green, zombie beast. It's a 4/5, and when he enters the battlefield, return up to 2 target creature cards from your graveyard to your hand.
That's a monster.
Yeah, I didn't notice that one before. This is really cool.
I might pick one up for Sidisi.
It's so great. Like, it's a zombie, so it's already got tribal support. And then it's literally, play this guy, regrow 2 creatures. And the buy's not bad either.
Probably putting it in Sidisi, this card can wreck limited games really quickly.
I really like the color of the art, to be honest. Like,
The sickly green.
yeah, I think it's going to be like one of the brightest colored cards in the Golgari deck. I don't know. Most of them are very much darker.
I'd love to see it in foil.
Yeah. It's just blinding almost.
Alright, so, Clay, what's your card?
Okay, my first card is Endbringer. Probably the coolest, completely colorless Eldrazi in this set. It costs 5 generic and a colorless for a 5/5. However, it untaps during each other player's untap step. So, we're getting value off of this no matter what.
Didn't we just ban Prophet Kruphix?
Hey, it's only this one creature that does this.
Until you copy it.
Until you copy it, or, I'd probably pair this guy with an Unwinding Clock and a Sol Ring, simply because,
And a Mycosynth Lattice?
I would not put a Mycosynth Lattice. But anyway, so, wait, damn it, man, you messed up my mind.
Much
Okay.
like Kozilek and his brood.
So, Mycosynth Lattice says players may spend mana as though it were mana of any color. Does that mean you can't spend colorless mana as colorless?
Yeah.
Which means it would shut down colorless mana-based strategies.
I mean,
It says may, so I guess you could still produce colors and spend it as colors. Regardless, Endbringer untaps during each other player's untap step. It can tap to deal 1 damage to target creature or player. So every turn we're gonna ping a dude, and it doesn't stop there. It also has colorless tap. Target creature can't attack or block this turn. So when you get around to the person who has a Voltron commander and they haven't given it Shroud or Hexproof yet, you just be like, well, you aren't attacking. Or let's say it's someone's turn and they're attacking someone else and you want them to die, you can make one of the receiving end's dudes unable to block. So it has 2 really relevant abilities and it untaps during each player's turn. However, there's another one. And the reason that we would pair it with an Unwinding Clock and a Sol Ring is because it also says colorless, tap, draw a card. Like, this card is insane.
Yeah.
I love it.
It reminds me of Staff of Domination, actually.
Yeah, like anything that can reliably produce 2 colorless per turn should run this card. Like, it's great. And even if you don't have the colorless, you can like start pinging players, you can pick off small creatures, you can finish off creatures that are almost dead. Like, it's a really cool card. I like it.
It's an all-star. I think we'll see that in a lot of decks. Any deck that can make colorless or has a lot of it is just going to want that guy, I bet.
Yeah, I approve.
Let's see. Ooh, hold on. Oh, wow, I did not realize that they are changing the way that we draft with the Gatewatch.
Are they?
Yeah. Small sets are now enlarged to the new draft structure. It's 2 boosters of the second set and 1 of the first set.
I was wondering if it was going to be like Battle Oath or Oath Battle.
It's Oath Battle.
That's so much better.
That is relevant information for tomorrow. I would have done it the other way, just by default.
I'm going to have a draft in about 2 hours, so that's good to know.
Alright, so Cassidy, what's your next card?
Well, actually, my first card, is going to be Thought Knot Seer. Let me pull that bad boy up. So, Thought Knot Seer, yeah, and I like how it's spelled Thought Knot, like a tying a knot, but Thought Knot is kind of a funny little phrase. Anyways, so Thought Knot Seer is a 3 colorless and
or 3 generic and a colorless.
Yeah, so 3 generic and then a true colorless. When it comes into play, you get to look at target player's hand and exile a non-land card from it. And then, it's also a 4/4, creature Eldrazi. And then, when it dies, you make target opponent draw a card. So it's kind of like a huge colorless version of Mesmeric Fiend, except for instead of having the kind of like old school, Oblivion Ring, Fiend Hunter kind of interaction, it doesn't even give back the exile card, they just get to draw another card, when it dies. So, I'm a big fan, same reason I like Kozilek, it gives, targeted hand disruption to non-black colors, which is another thing that's not in there's no Inquisition of Kozilek or Thoughtseizes any other color besides black. At least not that I can think of. And, so I like breaking the color pie in that way a little bit. He's 4 for 4/4 is also really nice. It's a nice mid-range body. It can block some things. It's not super great. And just in general, I kind of want to play this and everything. It's gonna go in the same decks that's going in, the Endbringer deck, just any deck that has enough colorless or utility lands and you want to get extra control value out of, really, really good card.
My favorite thing about this card is that you can target different people with each ability.
Exactly, yep.
So if someone's playing a combo deck, you can eat something out of their hand when you play it, and then when it leaves the battlefield, you can give someone else the card.
Yeah. It also has really sweet art. Probably one of the coolest looking Eldrazi they printed with this big gross eye thing on the front.
So, are magic cards with the googly eyes redundant with this?
No, because I do want to see that giant eye thing replaced with a googly eye.
Yeah, I could totally deal. But it looks good without the googly eyes too, which is a lot of the Eldrazi in these two sets have looked all the same and been really hard to tell apart, at least for me anyways. So I really appreciate that this guy looks different and is different and kind of has more of a separate feel.
Yeah.
It doesn't just feel so generic like the rest of the Eldrazi do.
Alright, so Cassidy's Beard. Which card do you like best?
I apologize. I was stroking it again.
Alright, so going on to my next card, it's Void Shatter. And this one's going to seem really familiar, and there's absolutely no reason why that should be. It's 1 blue, instant, devoid, so it has no color. Ignore those blue symbols at the top. It is actually just not any color at all. Counter target spell. If that spell is countered this way, exile it instead of putting it into its owner's graveyard. You know what I love? Counter spells. You know what I love? Making sure that they can't get those spells back. You know what I love? Dissipate.
Yep.
It's just Dissipate number 2.
And what else do you love? Not getting blown out by Pyroblast.
Yeah.
Or having a counterspell ready to go when someone names Iona blue,
Yeah, that's right, actually.
Devoid Dissipate.
Actually, as an aside, when I was trying out the Avacyn Alpha build on Tuesday, I kind of realized just how badly these Devoid cards are fucking Avacyn over. It's
Avacyn or Iona?
Avacyn. Specifically, the small Avacyn. Because she can't fog them, she can't protect her buddies, there's none of it.
It makes Ugin worse, too. All these colorless creatures running around that he can't exile.
Unless he shows up on their side.
Yeah, and they're just bros.
True.
Alright, so Clay, what's your next card?
My next card is the other ridiculously awesome value Eldrazi. Worldbreaker is a 5/7 for 6 and a green. Yet it is a mythic rare. That's devoid, of course. When you cast Worldbreaker, exile target artifact, enchantment, or land. So, immediate removal, it's kind of a little bit smaller than Ulamog. You only get one target, and it's fairly limited. You can't kill creatures or planeswalkers, but it also has reach, so it just kind of snatches little flyers out of the air. And then it also has an ability where you can pay 2 and a colorless and sacrifice a land to return it from your graveyard to your hand. So it recurs itself, it exiles things, and it blocks like a champion. I like it. I'm tempted to try and slip it into my Tassiger deck just because I play Life from the Loam to recur the lands that I'm sacrificing to it as repeatable removal and just inevitability. It comes back, it exiles your resources, you're going to die one way or another.
It's a really, really good card. I like that it's green, which means you can put it in Titania, just sack a land, get it back to my hand from my graveyard, and look, a 5/3 token seems good.
That does work.
Yeah.
Are there any black Eldrazi that make tokens?
Black Eldrazi.
Not Black Eldrazi, but there are
there are a couple Scion makers, I think.
Let's see, with Citrus Skulls, whenever a non-token creature dies, you get a 1/1 Eldrazi.
But he's not an actual Eldrazi himself, right? He's like a human or something?
No, Citrus Skulls is an Eldrazi.
Oh, is he now? Okay, I was thinking of
Actually, it's one of the new rares.
Right, I remember. I was thinking of Pawn of the Mug, which is very similar. I get confused.
Yeah.
My bad.
Okay, because I'm looking at this, and I'm like, Damia has been really missing the Ulamog and Kozilek since I took them out to make their own deck, and because I sold off my extra copies. But
this might be a good replacement.
Not only would it be a good replacement, I could actually see myself going with kind of what I saw last night with a Sultai Eldrazi travel deck with all the tokens. Yeah, I think I could actually really get behind that.
Interesting.
I like the Scion tokens. They're pretty cool. They don't have that same problem as the plant tokens.
No, they don't. In fact, the new ones actually look sweet because they have the diamonds on them.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, that does look really cool.
And diamonds are a girl's best friend. Hence why they're going in Damia. Alright, so Cassie, what's your next card?
My next card is Sphinx of the Final Word.
This card.
It's literally the worst for control mirrors. I can imagine just like people getting so mad.
It breaks the mirror in half.
Where? Oh, I went the wrong way. Hold on. I don't know why I didn't pull these cards out before ahead of time. I'm not very smart. Okay, here we go. Okay, so I kind of remember what he did, but I want to read it off loud anyways. Now, okay, so he's Sphinx of the Final Word is 5 colorless. No, 5 generic. My apologies. Blue. Creature Sphinx. That's 5/5. So Sphinx of Ulthuan, that kind of stuff. First off, it can't be countered, which is really nice. It's flying and hexproof. Hexproof and can't be countered already. I can see a million control players like crying. And then, instants and sorcery spells that you control cannot be countered by spells or abilities. So, it reminds me actually a lot of Teferi, Mage of Zalfir, because he just comes down and shuts down control. Yeah, exactly. And this guy's gonna do the same thing. The thing I like about this guy is that, the hexproof is pretty brutal. Basically at this point...
Uncounterable and hexproof.
Yeah, exactly. Basically at this point, the only thing that's going to be really problematic is, Overload, Cyclonic Rift, Evacuation, Wrath of God, that sort of stuff. But, most, targeted removal, counter spells, it just shuts down everything. It's a little painful that 7 for 5/5, that kind of sucks. If it was, 3/4 for 5 or something, I'd be totally down, which is, actually, that's what Teferi is, so there you go. But it's still pretty good. It's big blue. It's perfect for Commander. 2 control decks have one of them gets out, the other one just basically has to scoop or get very creative, so big fan of this card.
You know what
Especially if you can throw a Darksteel plate on it. Then the only thing you have to worry about is Cyclonic Rift and Final Judgment, and then you just have counter spells to counter them.
You'll see those 6 and 7 mana spells coming from a while.
It kind of makes me think of it as almost like a blue Achroma.
Yeah, that's a good point, yeah.
Yeah, 7 mana for a body that's really hard to get rid of.
I mean, the Sphinx of the Steel Wind is technically the blue Achroma, but yeah.
maybe more accurate as a blue Avacyn?
Yeah, or blue Iona almost, it feels like something like that. Just really, 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 really painful for the right decks,
Alright, so Sphinx of the Final Word is real sweet. Going on to our last round of cards. My last card is Needless Spires.
Wait, what? Is it Needle Spires?
Yeah, it's Needle Spires, but it's also Needless Spires.
Oh, fair enough. Okay. I hope I didn't read that wrong.
It's because it's more or less exactly what we knew the red-white land was going to be. It's the red-white man-land of the man-land cycle. It is play tapped. It makes red or white. You can pay 2 red-white to turn it into a 2/1 red-white elemental with double strike, and then turn it's still a land. I wish it had just been a little bit bigger.
I mean...
But...
At least it's slightly better than Boros Kirun, in that it's a 2/1 instead of a 1/1.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Kirun you could activate for 2.
True.
I mean, I wouldn't say any of the new manlands are, really overpowered anyways. None of them are really,
they're all
social colonnade,
They're all totally fine.
Right, so...
The blue-red one is going to be amazing.
I do like the blue-red one a lot, but it's also kind of dirtly,
Yeah, but the thing is, if you need to block, it has a sizable ass. If you need to attack, it hits really hard.
Right. I feel like the red blue one at least like isn't supported by a lot of other good creatures, whereas like Needle Spires is like, oh look, this is my 7th double striker at this light mana, so I think we're okay.
I think the blue-red one will probably see modern play and like Jeskai control and stuff. But
yeah, I mean, I think the black-green one has Death Touch, so that's something. The black-white one at least had Lifelink.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think if we're looking for a disappointment, it's probably the blue-green one.
But it's hexproof.
I mean, they're all good, but I mean, just like with the Needle Spires, my point is that like 2/1 double strike is decent. 3/1 double strike would have been ridiculous. Less mana to activate it would have been too good too. So I think I
would have taken it as a 2/2.
Well, 2/1, 2/2 doesn't really make as much of a difference with double strike, right? It's really like go for big or go home with double strike,
I mean, it means it doesn't really trade with a 1/3.
Yeah, that's true. There's not. I mean, I don't feel like there's a lot of 1/3s running around though. Like that doesn't feel.
Especially not in Commander.
People don't play Omen Speaker?
No, they don't.
I can't even remember what that does.
it's the 1/3 for 2 that came from Theros block. When you play it, you scratch it.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I mean, yeah, that would suck to come up against an Omen Speaker, but I mean, on the other hand, if you give this thing +2, it ends up dealing 8 damage. So I think there's a pretty good balance,
All right.
Like Awaken is a thing. Oh yeah, or just like put Awaken on it, and then all of a sudden it's a huge double striker,
Alright, so Clay, what's your last card?
My last card. I'm going to give a shout out to Bonds of Mortality. We went over that one earlier because that card is insane. But as for one that we haven't talked about yet, Captain's Claws is a really cool new equipment that definitely goes into pretty much any of the equipment weenie shells that exist. It costs 2 mana to get out there, so it's really cheap. It only costs 1 to equip. Equipped creature gets +1/+0, so it doesn't give that much of a buff. It's a Bonesaw that costs mana. But whenever equipped creature attacks, put a 1/1 white core ally creature token onto the battlefield tapped and attacking. Basically, anything you equip it to becomes kind of a smaller Brimaz, and it makes allies. So if you're playing the ally deck, you'll get all of your rally triggers before blockers are even declared. So if you have the ally that gives all of your dudes menace, even if you don't play anything from your hand, you just attack, you get another dude, and they both get menace. If you have a coat of arms, or another equipment from this set, Stoneforge Masterwork, which is just coat of arms for a single creature, they get bigger. It's really cool. I like it.
They also look extremely, extremely scary. Like, if someone came at you with the Captain's Claws, you're like, no, you win.
They look very sharp and very painful.
Yeah. Those are made to kill Eldrazi, so I don't want to deal.
I actually found a promo version lying around the store, and they look very shiny.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, right, yeah. From the pre-release, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would hold on to them, because they're going to be really popular for any sort of aggro strategy in EDH, and it's just a really cool card.
I like how it's 2 to cast and 1 to equip, so it feels fast enough,
Yeah.
Alright then. So, Cassie, last card of the night.
Okay, so I'm gonna go, well, mostly because Clay took the 2 that I really wanted to do, World Breaker. It's okay. There's plenty of good stuff in here. My first thought was like, yeah, World Breaker, and you're like, I'll take World Breaker. It's like, alright, fine. Someone's doing it at least. So I'm gonna go with Goblin Dark Dweller. Dark Dwellers, rather, there's multiple. It is 3 red to cast, creature goblin, for 4. It also has, it's a 4/4 for 5 creature goblin. There we go. It has the menace ability, which, we talked about a little bit. Could be anything else literally, but, we'll take it. So, when it enters the battlefield, you may cast target instant or sorcery card with CMC 3 or less from your graveyard without paying its mana cost, and then if you do, it gets exiled. So in a lot of ways, these guys are kind of like Snapcaster that can only target small cards. It casts it for free, but it's more expensive than the Snapcaster. So like if you're snapcasting like a 3-mana spell, basically you're getting the exact same value out of the Goblin Dark Dwellers, except for these guys also have a body at 4/4 with menace. They are missing flash, so they aren't a red or a blue card, obviously, right? They aren't built for blue. But I feel like they're really good. You can have them target like Pyretic Ritual if you play that. They could be another Lightning Bolt. They could be
Kodama's Reach.
Kodama's Reach, yeah, in multicolored decks. There's a lot of different things you can really do with these guys. It's also a really cool art. I really like the way they're kind of like climbing down and like coming at you and stuff. And I appreciate big red creatures that do stuff. We don't get a lot of them. Like I feel like the last card like this that we really got was like the Charmbreaker Devils, and that's been a long time. So
cool.
Yeah, apparently the promo pre-release version that I actually got in my pre-release kit is worth something close to $8 because there's speculation that the Jund decks and Modern are going to try and play this.
Flashback Lightning with it.
Flashback Lightning, Abrupt Decay, various things.
And there's a lot of good targets. Maelstrom Pulse.
Yeah, that actually sounds pretty good.
I could see them playing a 4/4 for 5 to do that. Not quite as good as Bloodbraid Elf, but still strong.
So like you go Oath of Nissa, draw your card, Tarmogoyf, Liliana, turn 4, play another Oath to pump up your voice, turn 5, these guys kill whatever needs to be killed and just win.
I could see it.
Yeah, I like them. They're cool.
Alright, so a lot of great stuff here in Oath of the Gatewatch. I definitely feel like the set's a lot stronger now that they don't have to worry about that third set.
Mm-hmm.
Also, as an aside, Hedron alignment. So
great for casual decks.
Yeah, it's something, alright.
Alright, so this side has a bit of a story. When we got the display model for the Battle of Zendikar pre-release, the Hedron.
Oh god, yeah.
So I put that together, and like within a week, somehow the Hedron became my waifu. So the running joke at work was that, okay, the Hedron is William's work wife. So finally brought the Hedron home a couple weeks ago because we were moving some stuff around the store and there just wasn't room for her. And that's fine. She's kind of frail, so the work environment was a little hard on her. Hedron alignment gets spoiled. And my roommate sends me a text. He's like, hey, so you're going to align your waifu? and I had sent him back, Tyler, here's the thing. This card, it's align my harem. Let's get this straight.
Harem alignment?
Yep. I was talking to someone and he said, I wish they had given it like the Relentless Rat's clause, or even like a clause that says like you can play up to like 6 in your deck or something like that.
Oh yeah.
Just so that we could have this win condition in EDH.
I might have to build a really stupid modern deck with Serum Powder. With this card. Like, exile 1 to Serum Powder, discard another one for Faithless Looting, cast the third one, and then just have the fourth one in hand.
That works.
Well, works is debatable, but I mean, on paper.
on paper.
And Magical Christmas Land.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright. But it is now just past 10. We have reached the 2.5 hour mark on recording, and we've talked quite a bit, so it's time for us to get ready to take it to the outro. Alright, make sure the recording's still going. Yes, it is.
Good thing to check.
2.5 hours in.
Yep, I gotta go to work pretty soon.
Alright. So, this has been CommanderCast episode 233. I want to go ahead and thank everyone for coming out here tonight. Clay, thanks for being here tonight despite the snowpocalypse.
Yeah, no problem.
Cassidy, thanks for joining us all the way from the Gaming Goat.
Yeah, sure, thanks, man.
Alright, and if Calvin hadn't gotten kicked off of Skype and Mark was still awake, they would say they would love being here too.
I mean, I guess me being late makes up for Mark having to go early.
And Cassidy being here fills our wrestling quota for tonight.
True. We didn't talk about wrestling, but that's okay.
It would have happened.
Yeah, probably.
Alright, so guys, let's go ahead and hand out that contact information. Cassidy, if people want to reach you, how can they do that?
Probably the best way to do it is actually just friend me on Facebook. That's the best way. You can also send me an email at my email that I actually use now, which is Cassidy@thegaminggoat.com. I also have an email for my article, but I don't really check that a lot, mostly just because I have like 6 emails now, and I just kind of forget. I don't really do Twitter either. Maybe I'm old, but I hate it. So the best way is definitely Facebook, or just send me an email, whatever.
Alright, Clay, if people want to reach you, how can they do that?
People can find me on the Gmail and the Twitter and the Reddit as EDH Panda. My girlfriend Mallory and I also occasionally stream on Twitch as Panda Alpaca. It's down in the show notes, and you can follow us on Twitter to get updates about when we actually stream.
Alright, and if you want to get in touch with me, I am wiehernandez@gmail.com. You can also follow me on the Twitters. I am at BlueRam1409. Whew. If you want to get in touch with us here at CommanderCast proper, you can email us CommanderCast@gmail.com. You can also follow us. We're at CommanderCast. Check us out on the Facebook page, manned by me and Calvin and the Waffle Cone. And now that I actually have a job where I can use my lunch break to use the laptop and post stuff, you can expect more regular postings and things of that nature. The breaking news prophet Kruphix is probably the most successful post we've had, so there you go. Hopefully I'll be able to stay up on top of that more often.
Glad it's gone.
I'd take you on. But hey, if you don't want to, you can go ahead, leave us a message on the show, on the site, on our Reddit, on Twitter. But if you don't feel like leaving that, you can leave us a 5-star review on iTunes, and we'll read up any of the 5-star reviews you leave on air. And
do we have any this week?
It's been a while. Okay, but if you like what we do here, and you don't want to leave a review or a comment, then maybe you consider supporting us on Patreon. Some of you are donating already, and I am looking forward to paying you guys back for this awesome support. I'm working on the video series right now. I'm mapping it out. I need to talk to a couple of the guys here to hash out the idea for it. I'm already recording the games and the test videos now, and that's working out really well so far. I'm really excited about the From Alpha. I might end up switching to Involve, but I'll have to ask some people around what they would consider fair or not. We'll have to see. But thank you all so much. Big thanks to everyone here at the CommanderCast Network too. You know, everyone else who's creating content and helping to keep the site going. You're all fantastic people. Music for our show is the Acme Heavy Metal Series by 631 E-Rock. We'll see you next week with more community, strategy, and technology. Until then, let's get it!
That. Oh man.
Is that an exhaust pipe in the background?
No. I don't know, not on my end.
I have a fan going in this room, and it's not because I want it to be on, it's because it's broken and it's only gonna be lit in here as long as the fan's on, so.
No, it's like a shaking sound.
Oh, that I don't know. Maybe I'm just moving. I have my headset as like a headphones or whatever. So maybe that's it.
So bizarre. It sounds like beads rattling around a thing.
Oh, I thought that was just a baby rattle. I figured somebody was like entertaining a child.
Oh. That's weird. I didn't hear anything, so I hope it's not me.
Is that what it is?
I mean, my son was in here earlier with his Millennium Falcon toy, but that sounds more like the Millennium Falcon than looks like a rattle.
What? What the hell is that shaking?
The beating of his hideous heart. And then they have a lot of cool interactions with things like,
what? Hold on. What is going on in the background?
I have no clue.
I was just about to ask, is somebody eating chips or sucking on a Slurpee or something?
Oh, I might be playing with my beard. That's probably what it is. My bad. I'll
This
stop.
whole time, I thought
So it's
you,
like, every time you went to Cassidy, he leans back menacingly in his
Is it
chair and
this?
strokes his beard.
Is it this sound right here?
yes.
Okay, I apologize. That's me scratching my beard like a weirdo. I apologize.
I
Is that what
thought
that
you
was
had-
earlier?
I thought you had a kid in the.
My kids are asleep, man. It's 8 o'clock our time. They're asleep.
This podcast is not big enough for us and the beard.
Sorry. Well, yeah, it's because I'm using the earbud like default phone, so it's right on my
So
beard.
Cassidy's beard. How do you feel about the twins?
I love the twins. They're the amazing sauce. And they work really well with like the amulet bloom kind of modern shenanigans of returning lands and triggering landfall over and over again because they're activated ability. So, yeah, they're just really versatile, really good. Giving target creature trample isn't super relevant all the time, but, it can be relevant sometimes.
Yes,
And,
get the beard under control.
Oh, is it still happening?
Yes.
Oh no, I apologize.
Yes, it definitely is.
The beard has a mind of its own now, Cassidy. Run, Cassidy.
Is that better? I can't do anything else with it besides shave it.
I can still hear it a little bit.
All right.
We can't.
Maybe it's not me.
Don't worry about it. I'll see if I can figure out a way to get it out of editing.
Maybe it's
I've
maybe
been,
it's not
I've been
me.
able to remove semi-trucks and cars and Hondas. I'm pretty sure I can probably tame the beard.
I don't know. I'm not moving at all. So, well, actually, maybe just my mouth moving is enough to destroy the balance of the universe.
I guess if your microphone is like touching your beard,
Yeah.
your mouth moving, will
Probably.
do that.
All right.
Because that's what it sounds
Cassidy.
like.
So Cassidy, here's what I need
What?
you to do, right?
Okay.
Just hold your microphone, reach your hand up. Everybody else, shut up. Cassidy, scratch your beard for like 3 seconds.
This is the best podcast ever, guys. Oh yeah.
All right. That should be enough beard scratching. Where if I do the sound, the truncate silence and all the editing, the beard might just disappear. On the plus side, I might get rid of the beard. On the downside, it may take Cassidy with him. So I will make that decision come Sunday.
Yeah, they're good.
So Calvin,
Really cool.
So Calvin, what do you think about the Wonder Twins?
In all honesty, I was too busy thinking about Cassidy's beard.
So sorry.
This is
All
completely
right.
got derailed. I'm thinking about breasts and beards.
Gross.
Well,
Can somebody read to me what the Twins do again?
Surprised you guys are doing an OGW set review so fast. I don't usually wait for a little while.
What we've been doing is we do the initial set preview, but this
Oh.
is supposed to be a preview.
Gotcha. Okay.
It's just a week late for what we usually would do.
Okay.
Because the holidays messed us up. I didn't realize that the set was coming out like that weekend.
Oh.
So we spent a weekend kind of dicking around and catching up. Week after that, we did a look back review for Fate Reforged. And now this week we're finally getting to Gatewatch.
Gotcha. Okay, cool.
And then next week we're going to have Sheldon on to talk about some of these rules.
Oh, nice.
Oh, is he definitely going on?
Yep.
That's sweet.
That's awesome.
That's right. Mark's been looking forward to actually talking to Sheldon.
I mean, yeah, it was sweet. I got a chance to talk to him last time he was on, but I mean, it was just, I don't know, it's just cool to talk to Sheldon. It's like internet celebrities.
It really
Yeah.
is. He wants to talk about the league that that is set up in his store.
Oh, that's cool. He never talked about Commander ever on his Facebook. That's one of the funniest things I've seen.
What does he talk about then? I mean, this is the only thing I know Sheldon in, like, besides that, I know he had the wine thing going on for a while.
Wine, he does school, and then what was the other thing? Like, he's kind of like, he was National Guard maybe or something, so like every once in a while there's something kind of like right-wingy, not in a bad way, just that's just like the thing that comes out every once in a while.
Thing. Yeah.
But never magic. I don't hear her ever say anything about really ADH. Kind of.
Interesting.
Whew. All right. Let's go ahead and get into this. So, in our community today, we will in fact be talking about 3 new changes. Sorry. I'm going to start that over.
Pretty good for a small set, honestly. They're doing a good job of fan service for the EDH community, I feel.
Yeah, I think so.
Yep. It also helps that they don't have to, like, try and save anything for a third set.
Yeah. No, I really think, like, that's one of the things they actually said was the reason they did it, was like, we just run out of juice and we have a bunch of crappy cards in every set. It's like, yeah, looking back, especially Born and Journey, like, yeah.
Yeah. I feel like, I don't know, maybe they hired some new guy and he came in and he's like, what if we just printed good cards? Oh shit! Yeah.
I think there is
raise.
Well, I mean, like, Melissa Del Toro joined R&D. I don't know how that really works out. And then,
she wasn't in there early enough for the Battle for Centigrade design.
Oh, okay, I gotcha.
I know. If you want to know what technically happened, what happened was they just got done with Theros. They were working on cons, working with how do we do something special with a 3-set block? Oh, what if we made it pivot on the middle set between big blocks? Okay. Mm-hmm. But at this time, they're also seeing some of the results from Theros and being well, damn, we still have this damn third set problem. Because we saved all the good stuff for the third set, and now the second set is just shit.
Yeah, the third set wasn't great either, honestly.
The third set had a lot of the stuff that people wanted for the enchantment world.
Right. With
all the enchantments matter type stuff and global effects. But Born of the Gods was just really not great. At the same time, Aaron Forsyth is like, you know what's not working out for us? Core sets. What if there's we need to figure out a way to fix core sets or something. And so we get into a meeting of the minds between Morrow and Aaron, and it's like, oh, wait, what if we axe the core set and turn these blocks into 2-set blocks? And from there, the rest of R&D gets involved, and they start figuring out the new rotation and the cart and the set sizes, and it just fixes all of their problems.
Seems legit.
I think I'm the only one who misses core sets.
I kind of like them. They always brought back a lot of cool, like, little Easter eggs and flavor and stuff. Like, Audric had the Abyssinian sword and stuff like that, and then we saw another Abyssin, So I like
they
the
had some neat stuff in there. Yeah, I mean, I thought they did a really nice job with Origin. So.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, if it means they're going
to play.
Yeah. If it means they're going to have more story time and stuff and actually just come back to Innistrad faster, I can dig that too. Like, alright, you don't need to like do so much like service to the older fans if you're just going to get back to it faster anyway. So
I still need to think of a way to spice up the Innistrad pre-release. Like, now that I'm working here full time, I want to just start making pre-releases like almost like a pseudo festival type thing. Like really make them what they're supposed to be. Like just really special, more than just, hey, come out and play the cards like a week ahead of time. Like, no, make it an experience.
I always like to keep things simple personally because I forget and like my last business partner, he liked to throw pizza parties and shit, but it was always such a thing, like putting everything together and so stressful, and now it's just like, it's just, I got cards, you guys come and play, You'll get it a little early, we'll talk about the cards, we'll make the prices good,
Yeah. But like, we're on the east side of Columbus, and there, closer in the center, there's a store that we've established is like the competitive pre-releases. Like, they're the ones who host the gauntlet for people who want to go through like all 5 or 6 pre-releases, and whoever has the most match points at the end of the weekend gets like a special prize, and like gift boxes and stuff like that. Like, you could go, and they do go like the full 6 rounds and stuff. Well, once I realized stuff like that was their jam, I was like, okay, you know what? We're gonna go be here. We're gonna have it relaxed and loose. We're gonna cut it off for 4 rounds so people can still get some sleep.
Yep.
We're gonna pay out based on record rather than where you play, so everyone gets to go home happy. Like the 2 and 2 guys can get a pack, and hey, some of them actually opened an expedition from their 1 pack, and they were super stoked about that.
And then they'll trade them back to the store. Equals profit. Yay.
That's more or less what happens.
Yep.
Like,
That's
hey,
a surprising thing for me.
Hey, you can trade in the expedition and pre-order your box for next week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we opened a lot of the Battle for Zendikar because I wanted to pull the expedition so I didn't have to deal with taking them in and then their price falling and being angry. But then, they just get open like crazy and people don't want them. So, but someone else does, so just sell them online.
Yeah, after the Star City event this month, I think it's actually next week. What's the calendar look like? Oh, dear God, it is next weekend. Damn, I thought I was actually going to get a chance to play Modern, but John's going to be out of town that weekend.
Yeah. Or no, not yet.
Yeah, it's not yet.
Opposite of yeah.
Yeah.
More different, yay. After the TCG event, John's gonna put those online, so we'll be able to move those.
Good point.
Yeah, I just don't want us to go through another purging of the case again. Like last November, he needed the money, so he went through the Magic case and just pulled out all the expensive stuff that he could sell. He had to sell them to another store for like 50 to 60% of what they're actually worth, and that killed me.
Just he probably just buy listed the cool stuff. That's what I do when I have way too many Magic cards, which is always.
More or less, but it just completely killed our Magic stock.
Yeah. Yeah, it feels dirty, but, it's just one of those things you gotta do sometimes.
Well, hopefully, we won't actually have to do it. The website, at least, is now paying for itself, because we'll use the money we get off the website to order stock, and then that stock pays for itself in, like, a month or so. Whew, thank you, Bushy Road, for creating collectible card games. And, hey, is that Clay? Clay?
Does he live?
Clay, are you on mute? Or does he not have his microphone set up? Clay?
Maybe stuffed animals can't talk. Do you guys have a lot of vintage legacy stuff at your store, Will?
No, unfortunately.
Okay.
Like, we've got a place at a Forcibles in the case, but that's for... Hey, Clay. Mostly, we get people who are getting, like, they open their packs, and they'll sell stuff in so they can get some modern stuff. But the only big formats we have at our store are Commander, Modern, and Draft.
Okay.
Like, all the standard players go to that store in the center of Columbus and on the west side, or north side more so. Like, we never acquire standard.
Oh, that sucks.
And we've tried, but it just, unless it's like a PPTQ or game day, it just never fires. And even when it is game day, we get like 8-10 people at most.
Games day, I get usually like 20 to 24 people in my little tiny store for, standard on Fridays, but, I'll hold the game day the next day and still only get 8. So I don't think, there's kind of this, I've been doing game day for like 2.5 years almost now, and every single time I've had 8 to 10 people. So maybe a little bit under advertised, but yeah, like especially when I had like 3 times the size of the crowd, like not even like 6 hours earlier.
We are getting Popper is starting to pick up on Wednesdays though. We've got a group of guys who come after school and they just come and play Popper. What I should do though is figure out a way to get one-on-one Commander tournaments going.
Oh man, it's awesome. We play it all the time.
Alright, so Mark will have you talk about General Tazri. Let's see. Clay, which one do you want to talk about?
Let's see, what do we have here?
We've got, Mark's going to be handling Tazri.
Tazri.
So we've
Can I
got,
call the Gruul guys? I just did an article on them, so that'd be easy.
alright, so Mina and Den for Cassidy.
I can take Kozilek, and maybe Eiley. I can do pretty much any of the other ones, except maybe Kalidas. Or at least I've thought about things for all of them, except maybe Kalidas.
Kalidas is just good.
Alright.
I could talk about any of them, just give me some things to talk about.
Yeah, I could do Kalidas if you want, because he's pretty effing G.
I definitely want to talk about Lisvala and Ilea, because I'm looking at both of them as potential commanders right now.
Is it Ilea, or is it just Eiley?
Eiley.
Yeah.
Ilea?
Eiley. It's just Eiley. No A.
Yeah, it's just A-Y-L-I.
Oh, I had the card literally in front of me. Yeah. Okay, yeah, Ilea.
It reminds me of the Chrono Trigger cave woman. She had a really similar name.
I just realized the new Kozilek has Menace.
Yeah.
I thought it was
Why
Trample.
No, it would be better if it had Trample.
Yeah, Trample would be better.
True.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and get right into this.
So, Cassidy, question for you.
Yeah.
Have you had a chance to see my Boros Resurrection deck?
No, Mark was talking about it a little bit though. That sounded pretty interesting.
Well, I personally still haven't had a chance to actually get to play it yet, because now I'm working 7 days a week and finding any time to do something other than building a damn deck is almost impossible. But I have heard from Man in the Field, L Nuts over on Twitter has gotten a chance to kind of slap together a variant of the deck, and he says it's actually doing pretty well. He really enjoyed it.
Is that Brian Stouter?
No,
it's got Kalimni.
Oh, okay.
Because, some of those Phoenixes are 5 mana costs, so since they come back to your hand, you get to just recast them and pump up those extra experience counters for her big ass.
Okay, so yeah, Phoenixes, and you play like Karmic Guide and stuff, or?
I don't really know I don't know if Karmic Guide is in there. Maybe. It's been a while since I've had a chance to see the deck, and I don't have my laptop with me, so I can't pull it up. And if I try to go to the internet while I have my Skype on my phone, I will die.
Alright.
So, and I finally got a chance to find my second Scour from Existence.
Ah. Let's see. I want
Want to take a rough guess at how many packs of Battle for Zendikar I had to crack to find it?
I want Endbringer and Worldbreaker.
I take it as nobody wants to take a guess then. Fine. It's okay.
I'm gonna guess 3.
Nope.
What was the question again?
How many packs of Battle of Zendikar did I have to crack open before I found my second Scour from Existence?
0.
4?
Nope.
10?
I got my first Scour from Existence for my first Battle for Zendikar pack. Ever since then, I've opened about at least 25 packs. Because I have 25 of those full art lands from Battle from Zendikar. And on my 26th pack, when I opened up yesterday, I finally got that one card. So, as far as my math is concerned, as a common, it takes 25 packs for me to find it. I've got to go through damn near an entire box of Magic to get 2 copies of a common.
I mean, they do that for limited reasons.
But it's a common.
But it's a common.
So?
But it's a common.
Don't you tell me you don't buy into the conspiracy that commons aren't actually all created equal?
They
They're not
have
all packaged equal?
they have like 1 or 2 uncommon commons. That's
And I'm assuming that in my print run of whatever box or that I basically bought, that Scour from Existence is the uncommon common.
I have a ton of them.
Okay, I've picked my 3. Worldbreaker, Endbringer, and Bonds of Mortality.
Alright then, let's see, where am I?
I actually don't have permission to edit the document, so I can't put anything in.
Oh.
What? Let me change the settings real quick. Anyway,
Damn it, William.
It's on Ken's view. I need to
I think Mark did it or something. I don't know.
yeah, I blame Mark.
Like, damn it, Mark.
Alright, do good cast.
Damn it, Clay.
I am ready to, after this, because we're about to get a huge snowstorm. So
We are.
So what we did this evening was we found out that the leasing office for the place that we were looking to live was open until 7, and there were only like 7 or 8 units left for the one that we were looking at. And we were going out this evening anyway to like go to Target and get some food and stuff just in case we like can't leave the apartment complex over the next couple days with all the snow. And I looked at the website, leasing office is open until 7. We're like, let's just go ahead and go sign the lease because we were planning to go do it tomorrow, but if we get snowed in, we can't really do that. So we went and we did that. So Mallory and I are officially going to be moving in together in an actual apartment and not a student housing thing in August. It is a house. It's like a 2-bedroom thingy. Yeah, townhouse thing. And then we went and we bought some alcohol and some food to tide us over for the next couple days. Mallory got a thing of loopy vodka.
Ooh.
It literally tastes like Fruit Loops.
Okay.
And apparently it goes really well with milk and crushed up fruity cereal. So we already had a box of Fruity Pebbles and a thing of milk. So we're looking forward to that.
You haven't tried it yet?
And after this, because we don't have classes tomorrow because it's going to be snowed all to hell, going to go hang out across the street at our friend's place and probably drink alcohol and play EDH. It's going to be great.
Yeah, what? Darksteel Pendant?
Darksteel Pendant's hilarious.
But is it better than Sears Lantern? Because Sears Lantern actually makes mana.
Sears Lantern makes mana, Darksteel Pendant is cheaper.
And indestructible.
It's a trade-off.
It is.
They both have their merits.
There we go, Needle Spiders.
Sears Lantern.
Alright, we all set? We're all set.
I'm still looking for my last one. I can't remember what they're called. There they are.
Darksteel Pendant's also cheaper to activate and cheaper to cast.
It is. But Sears Lantern actually makes mana.
True. It's a trade-off. Hedron Crawler also makes mana. Okay. I've got my 3.
Alright then, I'll go ahead and get us going.
CommanderCast.com.